Chapter 51. Everlasting Spring and House Arrest 2, Aurora, you are listening at novelfull.audio. That's why Maya is a prisoner too today, in the village in the middle of the small barrier, inside the Baron's mansion, tentative name. No, although there are some houses there is only one used by the Baron. By the way, I do not have any walls at home, no measures against conspiracy. It's always daytime, so it's not cold. Thanks to being hidden just a bit, I cannot imitate to etch, and I am getting into the blue wild in the forest. So. This girl was also a dragon, he seems to have noticed it now. Jean and Apple also made a very blind face. Even if it doesn't become confusing again, will it be? The two comments generally summarized our impressions. Maya seems to be a dragon who is very important to the northern elves. Especially for Phaser, it can be seen that she is a very important partner. However, Maya seems not to be attached to Phaser much. There are some places where it is not possible because it is the one that half cheated up to now. It's alright, I said that it is put down in ice. I think I will wander around slightly, but well, there is a healing fountain, right? That's right. The spring, which is similar to Polka's miraculous spring, freezes whatever low temperature it is while healing it. In addition to its unusual nature, it is remarkable especially for frostbite and hypothermia among various diseases. I don't think that it's okay to put it in ice, though. Because he didn't listen to me no matter how much it was different. What? Because of his absurd saying that human is a guy called an animal trainer to the world, it is the worst race of the worst as he manipulates a woman and is inferior to even a low-ranked demon, so he is deceiving you by his hands. I flew into a rage, a mental and bitter blow for Phaser. Andy is on the brink. I squirm on the floor. What is that objectively precise expression? Andy, you're a part of training or something like that. I haven't done so. Rather, older sister Layla or Sensei is the main criminal. 10. Man Captain, perpetrator. I mean that, I don't know that much, but, well, if you look at the collar or the reaction of other people at the time of having sex, there are places that can't be denied that the preparation isn't normal. You'll make me swim so much. Please be strong if you follow even a lie. What? Human, you perhaps are an animal trainer. No, but, when combined with Hilda Sands and Layla's doing, it is undeniable that some people have received such a charge. Well, if you believe in Andy's no, it seems to be equivalent to it when only the state is objectively seen. What an envy to say to you that beautiful woman group, no insolence. Wah, I am sorry. Somehow the Baron is also angry. It seems that I didn't have sex with such a devious intention separately. Mew. Human, are you made and manipulated? Alright. You can be at ease. Jean shakes her head while patting Maya's shoulder. I'm not going to ask you not to commit to bullying. Rather insistent. I also did. Although I knew I liked it, I left it alone for about 3 weeks. I mean, Andy. San had a pretty long break because of his leg. My time is so. Apple is blessed with Apple receives a Tsukomi by N0s, Jean and Aurora. Well, what I can say is, Andy, that the range of defense is quite wide. It is foolish to worry about heterogeneity and proportions. I am the one who says the prosperous lines of pin. Points each personally. I as well. 10. Man Captain, at that time, it was cool, isn't it? Just a normal girl. It's different. Apple is poor because we will do it quite a while. When every woman is in trouble, he is trying hard and is going to save without budgeting. I don't understand your evaluation of me. Is it high or low? Maya doesn't know what to judge what and has a strange face. And Zeros coughs. Well, I can't rely on it. I don't depend on you. To be clear, I can't take my eyes off the unreliable, but if you rely on me, you will definitely respond, because I'm a woman who will reach out to you whatever it is. Yes. I love you, and Zeros. San, casually earn points earnestly. Aurora should also say it, you, somewhat shameful, but it seems to be so. It is true that he has a reasonable amount to devote his heart to it. Whenever, at any time, it is important not to give up. The intention to protect things, the spirit of making you happy, that enthusiasm not being trapped by the selfish enclosure of races, that are good points of view. No, I'm just not going to be satisfied with the odd beauty of humans because of Apple and Diane. I don't know what you're saying. I love 10-man Captain, I love you so much, are not you going to say that? That, now, besides Andy and Selenium, there is no one to accept, but it's like I used to love it. Recently, I've been remembering a little bit about the past. But, I might be mistaken. Apple stands out and breaks through three people who declare their passionate love, branching heart. There is no imitation though. Maya sighs by looking at them. That means that Layla's way of thinking is correct, right? That's right, yes, well, sentimental, then, good. I am not mistaken, nobody could say that Phaser is wrong though. That's why the Baron said noisy. Keeping me up and doing fresh sweet and sour taste like a spring of life or something like that. Seriously. For the time being, we went into the forest. And then, I want to study how to suck today because I am free. It was not only me that reacted to N-Zeros who said so heavily. Apart from me, it was only Apple that I believed that I had a subtle look. Everyone is a natural pervert as well. It is okay, though. Or perhaps I should say, no matter how much time you have, the size of the nerve of Andy who is always doing ecky things with us is a little enviable. Even though we are under arrest, I don't know whether we can get out alive. Apple laughs with a bitter smile. Well, we will manage it somehow. I relax while loosening my belt. Well, I don't have any anxiety, but this is nothing but strong. It's still cheaper than the previous pinch. At the time of General Lucas, the strongest N-Zeros at hand was a losing mood, and she wondered what to do when we were attacked by Maya and Phaser. It hasn't been compromised yet. Because there are 10,000 northern elves in this forest and there is a dragon palace behind them. And there are also holy beasts in the night place of the light spirits. It is said that they are immortal and on the same strength class like dragons, but I'm saying that Aurora will definitely protect us in a discussion, and until then Diane and Layla may come, maybe the uncle may support us too, relying on others for attaining one's own objective, that is, no. There were not so many people in front of me who I would lose to. But there are many who are stronger than me, however. If you can do something for a chance and a chance, if you can support a single word even if you cannot do anything, the battle situation may change, so missing it is the best stuff, so trust everyone. Although I may be disqualified as an adventurer, I am a soldier fighting with everyone, therefore. I am not strong. But I can't do anything because I'm not strong. It is unexpectedly scary when it makes it to the enemy that one person is there even if it does not strike a match. I trust my peers, I won't stop thinking, I won't be late, because that's my way of fighting. This time I will believe in Aurora, this time I will do anything I can do, If I were to rely on Andy.San, I'm not going to answer it. Aurora seems to be comfortable when I stroke her hair. And she starts sucking on my crotch. Waru, Andy.San's penis is still doing fine, this is cute. I wonder cute, it's always Andy's penis, I only see it erect, because we're always naked. This state is this. It is fun with a magical texture. Aurora which continues sucking my dick is strange somehow. That face is totally the face of a woman, and there is something felt as though she doesn't show skin at all yet. Yabe, your fellatio face, erotic, I notice it. This girl's lips are neat but beautiful and elegant. It is a genital that can be made to be able to stimulate and to ejaculate, wet and soggy, unquestionably accepting my penis. She says that she is always facing me with her genitals bare. An erection. What are you going to do? Because you suck so disgusting, I've started to envision that your lips are erotic. Of course, please always be lustful for my lips. As she stretches her lips that has no lipstick attached, she elegantly pulls the lower lip with her fingers and Aurora starts doing her blowjob again after winking mischievously. My eyes move aside as I'm almost undressing her. Yet we exchange facial expressions with the highest nasty sounds, causing pleasures to erupt and pushed up to the climax. Hoo-ha, Aurora looks like an octopus. I'm supposed to be accustomed to it, but I will swallow it thoroughly. Aurora continues to harden her mouth so much that N0s and Jean see it in spite of themselves. Since Maya and Apple have already begun, they silently stare at the passionate acts of Aurora. I used to think that Apple did pretty well. And many times a day. Oh, Aurora, I'm coming, penis, N, please let me drink. No, do you want to dirty my clothes? By all means. As you like. Goo, you. I ejaculate. Ah, already. To Aurora's face, to her superior clothes and long hair. My semen scatters greatly. I think it will expire soon, but I still have sperm hell effect time left. Coo, it's an amount you can't drink after putting it out in the mouth. Yes, it is. Aurora smiles comfortably while closing her eyes and bathing in semen that is released like urine with her upper body. Looking at it, Apple says. I also drink it, I think, ha. No, it's kind of intuition. Has she remembered something? No, it is a bit frustrating even if she remembers something from such a place. Mew, I'm going to drink it. Wait for Jean. I haven't sucked it yet. Two strong young girls try to stand up against Apple that murmured something instinctively. It sounds like a crime to make these guys suck. There is plenty of free time. Let's go for it. Even so, it is fishy. And Zeros happily licked her tongue. I feel there are some things that can't be helped because it seems to have been cheated so far literally that I will be exhausted. Chapter 52. Everlasting Spring and House Arrest 3, Jean, Maya, Apple, you are listening at novelfull.audio. There is no Selenium here who is in charge of changing N0's hairstyle since we were sealed in this small boundary, so N0's is shedding without the tie and is doing a knot one by one casually. However, even a couple of them can enjoy a different atmosphere which is a little better. At the time of a knot, somehow there is the dignity of swordsman N0's and I feel like the atmosphere amenable to girly N0 somehow when her hair is hanging down. Well, it's my subjectivity. Today N0's hasn't tied it into a knot and let it like usual. That is girly. Mode. She was sucking my dick intently while her long smooth hair shakes by every movement. Mbu, Nku, Waru, Nu. Apparently, it seems to be unexpected feelings while giving me a blowjob and it isn't a way of entering into constant heat. She was intensely sucking, licking, getting entangled with the enthusiasm to give me no rest. Hey, N0's, when you do that much, I will come already. Chupu, Hoo, careless Andy. Boo, but you, everyone seems to have forgotten, but it hasn't passed half a year since I graduated from being a virgin. Although I'm not proud, I'm not very confident about pleasure durability anyway, regardless of the number of times I ejaculate. More, I think it's good to be able to endure more and to come and let me faint, Waru. No, I want to see your face, which is so pleasant that I have to ejaculate. Do you feel so comfortable, seeing my face? Yeah, pretty, isn't it comfortable for you? I feel comfortable, but, N0's immersed in sucking my son to hide her embarrassment. Somehow, when N0's.san is having sex with Andy.san, time and space are different, guess. It's like a love.time.lag, moo, human, impuri, half-elves, do you like them so much? Somehow I'm receiving lines of sights with thorns from everyone. It's okay, because N0's behaves like a spoiled child. I am behaving like a spoiled child. I wish you have a frustrating face while keeping your cheek squeezed by a penis. No, N0's says so with a choked voice and resumes sucking suddenly. You are good at behaving like a spoiled child and zeros, aren't you? Puppy, do you like it? Analyze everyone. However, if N-Zeros continue to keep sucking so slowly, it is somewhat more exciting than actual pleasures. I'm going to rise in no time. Impossible, it will come out. Sperm hell magic is cast on me now, so the amount of semen is huge. While trying to push the head of N-Zeros lightly and try to let go of her mouth, N-Zeros holds my hips tightly and sucks, as she doesn't want to let go. And I ejaculated. Ngu, 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 gubu, gu, buha, bihu. Yes, after all, it is impossible. N-Zeros couldn't finish drinking the huge amount of semen from my dick and starts coughing. Bihu, bihu, ku, hu, are you okay? Wasteful, N-Zeros with watery eyes drops a lot of semen from her mouth and nose. However, there is no dislike for the semen itself. Semen that has fallen into her face or something spilled out of her mouth or nose is licked with the tongue. No, you don't have to drink like that, but, Andy's semen, I want to drink it. It's not such an obsession, is it not tasty? Although it is certainly not tasty, but I want to drink it. I don't hate it even if you don't drink it, but, N-Zero's strangely hassling. She hugged my hips and licked the splashed semen. Here, do not think that this one is a slave that can't drink it. If I think you want to have me drink it, I will try to drink it any number of times at any time. Do you want to become a slave so much? No, I don't want to avoid being shunned because I like this even as a normal slave, but this is my favorite. This remark while licking and still clinging to my waist, and Zeros' face is muddy with semen, she has a runny nose and teary eyes. It is extremely brave, obscene and tremendously good. Then, now Jean and Maya, who are trying to challenge me to stop N-Zeros. I'm also sucking. Don't think my mouth as just a woman's mouth, it's awesome because I'm a dragon. Yo, young people are after me. Be quiet N-Zeros, I'm older than you. Besides, today's promise of sucking was that every one of us will suck it. N-Zeros is defeated. That's right, Jean and Maya are older than her. Yup. Apart from N-Zeros, and Aurora before, who went to wash her face in the nearby water field, Jean, Maya, and Apple stare at my groin. Hua, as expected 10-man captain. 2 or 3 shots are completely ignored. I don't know well, but amazing, this guy's dick. Layla.Wunchin and Hilda.Sensei said, that an ordinary man will raise a sound if he keeps coming 4 or 5 times a day. Andy.San, you often do it 10 or more times all night, right? No, everyone else is too erotic. I don't know other guys, but these beautiful girls are tempting me and I come every time. They always told me that they love me, so I can't stay calm. It is the duty of a man who drinks in a sense to have sex as much as he can. It is the beginning of the first place of this arrest that the stickiness of the lower body of the power was useless at all. Should I restart jogging? I have no choice but to be healthy. Naya, that's what it is for. I didn't dare say at that time, but I don't mind at all saying that you're totally useless at the woman on top posture, you. Ahaha, Maya, who seems not to understand what the woman on top position is yet, and Apple smiles bitterly. Speaking of which, I was talking about selenium about that, and the muscles used for running and doing eki things are different, so you should train by cutting quotes on the ground every day. It's a joke of selenium, don't take it for real. Well, if I told you to do it on the line, I'm sure Selenium, Layla and Diane would be happy to cooperate. And maybe Hilda, too. I wonder about the 4 people over there. As I am indulging in emotions, Maya gets a little red and mutters in a breeze. That story, good, Jean also agrees. What? Train 10-man captain's lower back. Don't worry, a dragon is sturdy and you probably will not come ahead of humans, these guys. But today is sucking. That's right, 3 people suffer from the decision of doing fellatios or my waist training, which one should be prioritized. Fellatio. I don't care about being a tuna. Then, I can't train. However, just before speaking to N-Zeros and saying it is okay, how did we change the meaning to the actual eki thing as well? Separately, I think that you can swing your waist towards my mouth, and Maya makes a remark that can't read the air. She is still intense about sex because she is a beginner, so she will say such a thing without difficulty, but it is inevitable that someone will get hurt when I move my waist against a mouth. I can't imagine it. But. Yes. You can also thrust into the vagina hole, I agree, I forgot. Jean was also quite the M and Apple was a former mouth lover. Ngu, N, Gu, Nu, U. Grabbing Jean's small head, I pierce my penis into her mouth till I reach her throat. Jean has already been afraid a little bit honestly because she is hearing disturbing sounds from her throat many times, but Jean protests with her eyes when I try to stop the movement of my waist and see the situation. Even though she protested with her eyes, when I had stopped for a while, she protested by letting go of her mouth. Why are you stopping? No, it's such a heartbreaking feeling, that I feel like a bad guy. Separately 10-man captain is a bad guy for me and it's true, I hate it. I don't care if it feels good, I'm not so perverted as to make the most painful things just like this. Does it feel good? I lied, it isn't a lie. Jean sharpens her mouth. Layla that Wunchin probably said so. Layla did, that's a pretty real deformity. Unlike Jean, different. I am like Layla that Wunchin, for 10-man captain's penis, I'm burning with the desire to make it feel good. As a woman, I feel that the value is recognized as a good penis hole. Layla is right. Maybe it's really true. But Jean's still a bit skeptical. Just because she was trained by Layla first, and only convinced that it is such a tendency, I think that it is a little more normal actually. But if Jean insists so, I think I'll give it a try. It becomes a danger of breathing, that is, their life will be in danger if it is done unskillful. If it is a dragon with extraordinary strength and resilience, it will be hard to find the dwarf Jean without really having such a tendency. I will not bear to forgive and beg for forgiveness if she bit my penis. Jean will also be conscious and will also feel a bit painful, not quite a bit of a pain, but I guess it will be a misunderstanding, so we can just have normal sex as usual. Still, if I show that I was pleased even then, well, it is genuine, it cannot be helped. I will go out with that kind of idiosyncrasies as well. I began to violate Jean's mouth again in a silent manner. Ngu, bu, ngu, gu, mbu. Jean's mouth swallows my cock. She makes a mistake by swallowing it till the throat. Originally the depth of her mouth is small. I thrust into the throat as soon as I thrust a bit deeper. But Jean doesn't raise a sound. She shed tears and breathed constantly, but I still don't feel the power to separate from my dick. Such Jean and I do an oral service, while Maya and Apple are gazing with a serious face. No, they are gazing a little bit overwhelmed. Jean. Ngu, gufu. Mu, the swing of my waist gets fierce gradually. The depth of insertion is also increased and it becomes a shape which makes the throat deeply stabbed. But Jean strengthens the ability to aspirate more and never runs away. She is a true hole that serves just for my cock. You. Compared to other pretty girls, her body is small and flat and the appeal is small, but Jean is a pretty girl. I feel a joyful mind that Jean who sprinkles an innocent smile with her young appearance and heals us becomes a tool only for my dick. She is self-confessed that she is a meat hole for my penis. That fact is terribly attractive. Uo. Ngu, mbu. I violated Jean's mouth, deep and fierce, before pouring semen directly into her throat. There is no way it could enter. An amount of semen that can't be swallowed so quickly overflows into her mouth and it comes out of her mouth and nose. It seems painful. Na, guhu, bihu, are you alright? Ihu, 10-man captain, I'm sorry, I couldn't drink it, but, I was happy. I'm not sure why they're all so obsessed with drinking. But Jean is real. I give up. Indeed, her jaw and neck were exhausted and Jean fell down, but she left afterward. Next is Maya. Who, human, this is painful, that's why I told to stop, but there is no way that a dwarf can do it and a blue dragon like me not. You can say that you can't do it, although I'm saying so suddenly. Maya did not even have a decent sex act since her virginity was lost. I don't want her to think that this is painful. I memorized the angle. I learned the angle, so I'd be fine if you pierce me like that. It's impossible to force, it's not impossible. I will not be ignored. I haven't done it, I'm doing it. I am with you. I'm trying to get along with you. Ah. This child is clumsy. She doesn't know how to make friends. I think that she was communicating with my girls with etiquette only. And she wants to catch up because she doesn't want to lag behind other women who have a happy face. I wonder if she followed the way of Jean, which is especially sharp. Like N0 said, but I also like other places. I'm happy if you also use my pussy, moo, you can see it as another opportunity to train your waist, but if you want to get along better than anything, go straight ahead. If you want to get along, always hugging, patting, stroking, putting on your lap and kissing, because we sleep together and holding hands. It's only one way to do that. Sometimes I feel like I will make you do it. I'm sad to know that I can only make friends with you and only with you. Let's love each other more from the bottom of our hearts. Love Maya gently. I understand, was good. Actually, it is slightly frightening to see Jean's painful expression and hear her sounds. Yup. It is okay to do it with only those who like it, such true ectopic perverts. I don't really understand, but I have to do it for a little girl who misunderstands that she did not get along well if she doesn't do ecky things. No. I'm afraid of that, Andy.San. The key point of the partner's heart is too much to touch. Apple somehow stared at me with her eyebrows. And then. Well then, this. Suyu, Maya was Maya, she didn't give up on my dick. Like Layla, she has a somehow strangely long tongue and starts licking by wrapping around my dick. So, that, Kuruhiai, Koiwankua, Yarahiru, Hinbo, Hooky. It is hard for Maya to talk, but she likes my dick. No, so you this time. Churu. Now, I feel like, your penis juice, drinking in the back of my stomach. You can't train your waist, but I suck your penis. Dangerous. It may have been a while. She is certainly a beginner who has just lost her virginity, but she is a dangerous fellow. She was quite lewd, became a pretty hooked woman, so the glow from the bottom that made her so intuitive was visible in the back of her eyes. A woman like Layla and a narcotic type that gets blissful by being amazed by a man as much as possible. Such qualities spring up from the back and appear in her tongue skills. Your penis, good, that dick, I want you to use it, my body is saying that, my whole body, is throbbing. Yuwa, flame of lust from an icy girl. It wasn't when I was trying to force deep-throating a little while ago, a shameless passion that cannot be erased. I wonder if I turned on the fire, by any chance. Nryu, Waru, Wawaru, Nyu, NN, Nyu. Skillfully using her long tongue, she attacked my penis freely as this wasn't taught to Maya. For a while, I endured it because I didn't know what it is, but her tongue invaded the urethra and I finally raised the white flag to this unknown feeling. I have no confidence in the pleasure endurance level. There is no such thing as confidence. Kuu, Ua. Dokansu. Hua. My sun rises up. A large amount of semen is spouting out. It makes Maya's melting face become very muddy. Maya accepted it with her tongue and looked happy. Unappetizing, I guess, but it may be my favorite taste. I don't know the meaning, I want to drink again, seriously. Yeah. After all, you, love. Ah. I stepped on something. Something like a dragon's tail. No, I understand. It's not a bad thing, is it? But I'm stepping on this. Yup. And finally. Me too, is it okay? Yup, Apple remained. I'm still out. Like Polka, here is also a miraculous spring. There is no indication of bullets when it is always included. I am scared of going back to Basan. I am sucking, too, you don't mind doing it, no, please let me suck, saying a bit seriously, Apple bends over my crotch that is attached with saliva and semen. And, I watched her. What is it? No, that, sort of a nostalgic feeling, please don't talk with memories in front of Apple. I used to spend every day while sucking Andy. Sans son, while I'm touching Apple's tits or ass, we are intertwined naked without getting tired every day, as Apple is embraced, that, for months, yup, Apple trembles. I wonder if she was scared. No, I would like to believe there is no such thing. Was it disgusting? No, that, Apple glanced at Maya and laughed. Obediently, dot. That. Well, I tolerated it, dot. Surely, now that I know the real taste of sex, I think I can't bear it. Eyes that Apple aimed at me are unmistakable, not an aversion but expecting eyes. If I was to be drunk, I would want you to put it this time. Is that so? Yes, I was the one in those days. I still didn't know the thing called sex. If I did it, could I leave Polka? Even if I begged. Even if I continued to apprentice for many years. I remained in Polka, I didn't get tired, I would live happy with Apple every day, and then selenium, I guess we continued to pour semen into them several times every day. I'm glad you have patience, Perhaps, if you did something wrong with me at that time, surely I would have been useless enough to keep you in Polka until I die. I'm sorry. It was probably a reward for us, the sweet Apple's gentle eyes seemed to be that of Apple 15 years ago, hugging me naked. My penis also swiftly inflates again. I assert myself in front of Apple. Can I lick it? Yes, lick it. Today it is okay even after 10 bells. Apple looked happy by grasping my dick. Somehow, it sounded real, I heard that in those days. Yup, so. Apple is that Apple. Apple who needed me and was waiting for me. Although it is nowadays, I realize that I am happy. Hama, churu. Apple joyfully licks my dick. Cherishing and a bit rushed. Apple's mouth isn't like the child at that time. But still, we have feelings beyond time. The same feeling at that time. A love affair that fulfills promises. Mbu, chu, nnn, ha, nnn. Sometimes fierce, sometimes pleading is the tongue used. A skinship that was done in the past from daytime to evening. Craving for the existence of each other like narcotics, desire for connection, it's shameful for Apple, for me it is an uninterrupted path to the last line that was not fulfilled because of ignorance. Nnn, he, hey, Andy. San, this, want, Apple has a blurry face. That, in fact, your penis, I don't want it in my mouth. The penis, girls want to put it in, but why? Apple muttered words she couldn't say that day. Your pussy will get fucked, so let's cut it, AAA. Listening to the answer, Apple shed tears, leaving a blurry face. Why, tears, haha. I stroked Apple's hair before I ejaculated into Apple's mouth, who stretched out her tongue. Ngu, ongu, nkuku, he, hey. And Apple doesn't miss that ejaculation. She drinks. Gulping and drinking. Even though the amount is somewhat thin because of continuous ejaculations up to now, it is still not a normal amount. The amount can still fill half a mug. Apple didn't hesitate, as she was dreadful to drink it. Npu, hu, ha, y, u, I. Moreover, It seems that it was an instinctive drinking spirit at the end that Apple felt the emotion, not the challenge in the original of something's determination. Apple who swallowed it is the most congested. Amazing, hey. I wonder why, somehow, I feel like to drink it. Apple is embarrassed. Holding that apple, I pushed her down. Ah, Apple, I'll fuck you, it's a reward for drinking. I will make you pregnant, yes. Apple smiles quietly. To that smile, I would hesitate in the past, but no confusion now. Even if that is the result of euphoria due to irritability, I was so happy that Apple would love to cry. Apple. Kaya, I pull off Apple's clothes like tearing them off and expose her lower part to the sun. Maya and Jean, who are exhausted and lying around, are saying, ah, and, that's sly, as they are left out. Already, you are greedy, Apple, I will ravish you. Your pussy will be filled with my sperm. Yes, as she was embarrassed, I still attacked Apple that turns red and opens her legs and I pierce all the way to the back without foreplay. HAA. Coo, AA, the secret hole is fearfully pleasant. It was soft and wet, but the tightness was not impaired and my penis was firmly eaten. Apple, Apply, Andy. Son. And we hug each other more violently than the crotch. I don't think Apple still remembered clearly. This is the first time Apple has ever recognized the continuation of 15 years ago. It's 15 years worth of sex. UA, AAA, NN, Coo, Hiya. As we both released a cry, we start panting. Apple's superb body neds for me. Her beautiful face distorts officially. It was nothing, leaving the impulse, it was not that bad at all. But very happy sex. Very comfortable and acceptable. Apple, already coming, put it out, fill my womb, reach my ovum, your child, I want to have, please. AA, coming. And, both of us tremble with our bodies as I ejaculate. Biku, semen is splashed into Apple's vagina. Apple, Andy, Son, without waiting, we both caressed the collar. The collar of the beginning of me and Apple. A very important engagement collar. Even so, Apple has a slightly troubled look. It's few, isn't it? Yes, it was so because the sperm hell magic expired. It is not full, well, Apple gazes at me for the time being. Isn't it filled? Do you want to fill it? Yes. I think that it is not enough for once or twice, yes. Yup. I will do my best. Chapter 53. Intermission, warriors outside the forest. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Polka was shaking violently against the sudden kidnapping affair of the Baron and Apple. It is the first time that elves have come to such a deep concern. Baron, will he be alright? Oh well, the Baron will be okay, despite his appearance he is a former swordsman, and, really. The problem is Apple. Somehow it seems like a politically troubling position, so if we don't do anything, they will be executed, Mrs. Baron, damn elves. Apple. Is our idol. No, she just started to live in peace. It's totally, it's a diplomatic issue when you put your hand on the Baron. When necessities arrive we could call the army from the capital, but, I wish they could come, the military, because it's Polka here. Don't say that, maybe winter is finished by the time we call them, damn it. Why is not there an hour's walk to the capital? From Polka, you have to go through the difficulty of the Snake Mountains to the capital and it is difficult to contact in the first place. The messenger doesn't arrive at the speed which cuts off 1 week even if it uses as much means as possible, and even if it comes to full scale, it is necessary to establish a logistics plan of considerable scale in order to advance around Polka, which is a depopulated area. First, if you set things up with the northern elves, if you go north to the west of the Snake Mountain Range and travel through the Laika Sanctuary, there are many neighboring cities, which is convenient and quick. The more important it is, the more likely it is that the issue of life for one of the urgent frontiers and their guests will be abandoned. I wonder what we can do from now on. Nothing. There is no Baron. Even if we say we were in the army, we are too few. I guess that with everyone in the town we will be a bit more than 100 people. When you do not include the old people, will it only be the half? If the elves become serious, they will all die in 3 seconds. I wish they had only taken the Baron. Guard duo, Keel and Johnny slowly dropped their shoulders at the main gate in the south of the city. In fact, it is not the case that the intruder from the home country is watched in such a place. The enemy is in the north. But if they actually get attacked, they will have to flee. These two combat experience was only once, as they have been greeted at the end of the Celesta War, only to experience diversionary citadel warfare and never fought against the enemy straight. Halberds, who they have, is usually unnecessary and intimidating, and even the people in question are a little frightened, but now it was too much to rely on. In the Baron's mansion, there was a completely different atmosphere. Think carefully. Layla twists her head to Diane's words. Be cautious at all. We should go get them back soon. I made a mistake. Sorry. Diane walks around the office where the Baron was attacked and carefully examines footprints and crushing marks of the windows. There is a high possibility that the elves have done it, but the way is too violent. It can also be thought of as the work of bandits who heard rumors of the relationship between the elves and polka bandits. Diane keeps on explaining to Layla, who makes a dubious face. I haven't found any traces of an elf at one glance. No one has seen how Apple and the Baron were kidnapped, and there is no arrow shot, but, even if you say so, there is no location where bandits can walk around. Sir Bonaparte came directly from beyond the Snake Mountain range, and although it is dangerous to be watched by the elves, the possibility that bandits will come isn't zero. The area around Polka is a frontier. It is a location that the bandits' industry can't be made past the frontier. Despite lurking in somewhere, the climate is too strict and there cannot be a back society that can move the money earned by the bandits. It is a land that you normally not think is good or bad for bandits to stay long. But the possibility that they will go on an expedition and commit a crime isn't zero. It was unlikely that there was a scenario where the Baron, who is likely to have money and the pursuit of a weak woman in the vicinity, will be a threatening case for them. The scenario was not to be impossible. It was unnatural that there was no ransom demand, but spent 3 days or so on a base construction in the unfamiliar land. And then Andy also. No, it is said that he is kidnapped while being accompanied by Anzeros and Maya. If the bandits had secured Andy for some sort of time, they are the only people who are not wicked. They might have had to raise their hands for the moment. I see, it's a story. If you yell at the elves by mistake, it will give you the cause of war. Even if it is not a misunderstanding, they won't have a war, at least they will do it quietly. I also think so, but politics is determined by justice. No matter how much a part of the country suffers, if the person who did it is evil, the majority of the others will try to finish the thing with the lizard's tail cut. If there is no cause, the person doesn't move. If there is proof that the culprit is an elf, but there is no Baron, it won't become a war. But if it is not so, it will be the worst result, that the Baron will not be able to regain and cause an unnecessary war. The world is a hard life. Diane had been swayed by that one point, that the attack that the elves did was undoubtedly pushy. She got less evidence because it was quick and snowy. Although selenium is pursuing the footprints that continue into the forest, the place was also dangerous. Diane.Chan, here I am. How was it, older sister? Not good. Where Andy.Kun and the others disappeared, I think that it is probably the way into the forest, but the range is too wide. Although it does not bother to run the snow all the way. Even if you run, you can't rely on footprints. The deaths of Andy and the others were also difficult to handle just because Diane doesn't know the point. Perhaps everything happened at the same time, so they'd like to deal with them quickly, but there is a possibility that they went somewhere as Maya was present. If, for example, they were invited to Misty Palace, they had spent time without excessive, the careless connection to the elves still had the danger of becoming fatal for the human side, even eventually for Trot and Celesta. It was a failure for Andy to put all the clumsy guys together. Well, at least a clue would be left behind if it is Selenium or Diane. At least, it was Diane and the others who had no relation to the helpless feeling like the citizens of the city, and, no, they felt a dead end due to the powerful and thoughtful position. I'm back, Selenium comes back now. She was exhausted. Selenium, how was it? I was found by a monster and got into trouble. Monster. The monster was a bear. Thanks to it, the footprints were lost. Bear, a lumberjack grizzly bear or so. It is a monster bear boasted with power that can knock off a big tree with one blow. Due to too much power and speed, it is a powerful demon that is hard to fight with and to escape from if it is a decent person, but still Selenium was able to escape, which was tiresome. That demon is still nearby. I sprinkled it apart from the city for a while, but I can teach you the place if you will bring it down, Layla. I will deal with it. It's a little bit of a bug. Layla quickly left the mansion. Diane sighs. She also wanted to get rid of stress in the mountains, but she still couldn't afford it. Please cooperate with me, older sister. What? I will examine the route that Andy and the others used again, because there aren't many routes they could take for march training without being witnessed by the townspeople. Well, if you think so. Layla in her dragon form, who has Selenium on her back, flies over the forest and goes to the spot where the monster bear was seen. But there is already a guest. Ho, Arthur Bonaparte, Layla. Sama. Don't be rude. Arthur was surprised by Layla's huge appearance. It is a hard man to understand whether to see from the side seriously and to be surprised, though it is certain to be a fierce person who does not pull one step off against a dragon for the time being. I heard that Selenium saw a monster around here. Didn't you see it? That bear. I am also aiming for it. I want to do some special training about fighting against someone who is awkward, because monster bears use their arms differently from wolves and others, so they are more realistic. Why on earth are you going to fight them? Well, behind Arthur, who is saying that the monster bear jumps out from the darkness. Arthur. Arthur dodges that rush. The cloak is torn. Whether it noticed Layla's big body just after that rush, the bear flips over and returns to the darkness of the forest. Layla quickly transforms into her human body when Selenium is lowered and walks next to Arthur. In any case, it is difficult to kill it without burning the forest. Arthur will hunt it against me in a little competition. That's right. Do you want to run around this snow naked, Layla? Sama. It will interfere my footwork. Diane and Hilda were walking carefully, looking around the path around the forest. I have seen it many times. It's 100 times on, older sister, Diane. Chan also has experience of military police. No, I've been to a special intelligence brigade, but there is no military police. Diane. Chan, you've really changed your job a lot. I have been a soldier for decades. I don't know until after a few years. Well, It is not unusual for her to stop in the eyes of Diane. No, it can be said that there is an accident. Rumors of the recent raid of the elves have flowed, and the forest where plenty of things are getting closer is also reduced. There are roads in the vicinity, so no one is walking. However, there is a child who is doing rope jumping on such a road approaching evening at dusk. Diane approaches while making a suspicious face. Hey, you should return home because it is already dark. The child makes herself stiff. That child had a familiar look. You are. You are the child of the blacksmith. Did the little girl feel a little easier on the appearance of Hilda squatting down? The child timidly looked up at the two. You guys are. I am Diane. I'm Hilda. Sensei, a magic doctor. Your name is? Sarah. Yes. Sarah. Chan, if you play, why wouldn't you rather play in the city while it is brighter? To Hilda, who admonishes in a loud voice, Sarah answered in a small voice. Because, if everyone can see me practicing, I'll be ridiculed. When I jump too high. Diane makes a bitter smile. It is indeed close to the forest where people can't catch up. It is perfect for practicing something while hiding from everyone. But in such a dark place, human will fall down, all right. I can see it, no, nevertheless there is a limit, I and Daddy, it's okay for us to see in the dark, even without any light. Little horns are on her head. It seems to be round and not so hard, and if you don't look closely it seems like a pattern of a hair band or something, but it still appeared firmly on her head. So, it's okay, yeah, but the monsters are getting active at night, so you should stop it, the girl did not appear to be convinced. But, I have to work hard, it is not something that can be done with too many roots, there is something appropriate for practice, oh yeah, it's not enough to do a lot. If you overdo it, it will reverberate the next day. So better do as much as you can every day, Hilda gently admonishes her fingers. It is fun with the feeling that it is a school teacher and a child, but is it because of Hilda's voice that it sounds somewhat evil? Diane is secretly worried whether she is frustrated or not. You know my sister and I can also see in the dark, eh? Then you are dark elves, there are lots of people who can see in the dark in Celesta and everyone can live comfortably, do not they? Well, the girl looked a little miserable. My dad is suffering these days, L.RG. Would it be better to move to Celesta now? You can do it, although the kingdom of Trot is tolerant for the ogre race, there is still a discontinuity where the overwhelming majority and minorities are invisible. In the midst of that discontinuity, the mixture will inevitably position. Celesta has a smaller difference between the number of majority and minority than Trot, is rich in variety, and is much more mixed than Trot. It was never said to be an ideal country without discrimination, but it was certain to get confused. Although it is a workshop that was given to us, in fact, it is right to give it back to the original owner and for Sarah, as it may be good to start over in Celesta, Father always murmured that in bed, yeah. Surely if you come, Celesta is a fun place, the blacksmith is also worrying a lot. It is a serious choice, but surely there is a meaning. The condition that this matter of Andy and the Baron is settled is attached, but this also limits. Diane wanted to support them as much as possible as a person of Celesta if they were to immigrate. Sarah looks angry. But I'm good here. Father tells me that I'm pitiful here. But am I pitiful? Everyone is mean sometimes, but I don't dislike it very much. I thought we'd all live here. I wonder if I'm happy in Celesta. Aren't I going to grow up with everyone? Adults' happiness isn't always happy for children. The small happiness that may give up to possibly grab the great happiness may be irreplaceable for the person in question. It is a common story. I want to be able to do a double jump, I want to be able to do it, I want to be with everyone, so I don't want to waste it, it's much better than going to Celesta. Without everything, it is a wonderful place, I think, it's better than Celesta, that's right. It does not make sense to elder sister, as a person who became the founder of her father's annoyance, Diane decided to answer firmly as one of the lines. Parents desire children's happiness, children have the right to be happy, I cannot say that my father is making a mistake trying to do as much as possible, but Sarah, now if you are happy you may want to say that you are happy, Parents are too greedy for children, so if you are satisfied, you have to say that you are grateful for what you have become yourself, there are things that you don't understand. Parents make an effort. Unlike the double jump, it is not understood whether it was able to make the child happy only by seeing parents. Yup, Diane who smiles bitterly is too infirm. When she thinks about it, her father would have misunderstood that there was no single man that could satisfy her, looking at herself who continually strives to save allies. And it might have been a struggle to put the human who balances the achievement and life more than humans anyway. She thinks that she will say that she has already been happy enough while doing by rub even on the shoulder occasionally. She'll grab it herself. I understand. I will say thank you to my father. Surely I can look back on everyone if I can double jump and do not worry. Yes, children are also qualified enough to fight for their own happiness. Diane wants her to take care of that pride while fighting. Thinking that Diane caresses Sarah's hair. And at that moment, suddenly the monster bear pops out of the darkness behind Sarah who smiled. Then, it struck at Sarah and Diane in front of it with a blow and jumped out into the snowy field. Bakuatsu Sarah's body is seen to be crushed. Her arm broke, her body crashed and the spine bent so horribly that it hit Diane's body. Sarah. Diane was buried in the snow while holding Sarah. Sarah opens her eyes and spits out blood. Sarah. Diane. Let me. Hilda jumps to the two with the eyes of a doctor instantaneously. The arm was scratched by the claws and they fall into snow altogether. The side was also deep. Older sister. Sarah. I understand. Absolutely help, leave it to me. Hilda moves her hands at high speed, starts hemostasis and magic treatment one after another. Leaving the place to Hilda, Diane rises from the snow. That bear is a monster. In front of Diane, which is not very big, it looks like a small mountain. However, it has nothing to do with Diane. It is an enemy that is in front of her. And she won't forgive the enemy one way. The strongest dark elf warrior from the oasis bleached her hidden fangs. Dead Layla and Arthur finally caught up and saw fan-shaped blood marks scattered by the shock, which stretched snowy fields at dusk by more than 10 meters. And a bear corpse was lying there as it was cut by one kick. Diane, did you guys fail to attack? Diane, who is angry at Layla and Arthur, grabs 2 trees and cools down after a moment. I'm sorry, for venting my anger. No, I am sorry, I'm sorry. In the immediate vicinity of the blood pool, they can see the figure of Hilda who is desperately treating a dying girl, so Arthur and Layla chew their lips. But. Already. What's with the face like that? Wake, without turning around, Hilda said brightly. Older sister, I told you to leave it to me. A few days later. Yes, don't open your eyes, I will shed. When Selenium poured water, a small head splashed the water away. 2 small horns are on its head. It is out of the ordinary, this miraculous spring. Layla makes a bitter smile. Even though I dropped my arms, it was only 3 days to get rid of any scars. I'm connected, I say, but it's a miracle. The dark elf sisters make a wry smile in line. This little girl, Hilda's prowess is also likely to be there. Complete recovery was unceremoniously from dying. Older sister is still amazing. Respect. Honor. I will not go. Then, if I find Andy. Kuan, I will monopolize him overnight. No, that's my choice. I think I did a whole night of work. As usual, Andy's clues were not found. However, they are sure that it is surprising that somehow it is done. Andy is surely a man who can hold it until it is found. They believed so. Hey, Hilda. Sensei, what? Sarah. Thank you for helping me. I'll give you this. While taking a walk on the hot spring, Sarah at first approached the snow mass on the side of the road and was digging out and taking out the ice mass from inside. Some time ago, I found it when I was practicing rope jumping, an ice ball pierced by an arrow. Diane, that ball, it's Maya. The arrow is the same arrow as the man named Phaser used before to shoot. Layla and Diane looked at each other. Sarah, great. Sarah was hugged by Diane and Layla while blinking with her eyes. In the forest, before the ancient boundaries. Layla, Hilda, Selenium, and Diane used force to pierce the barrier. Ancient barrier, what can we do? Arthur raises his goggles and looks at the barrier. The right eye who sees the space can see the appearance of the barrier, which is forced to be broken open so that the peel of the pie can be broken by multiple spells. Pass through quickly. With the command of Diane, everyone is going into the barrier one after another. Come on, let's get them back, northern elves. While going through the closing barrier, Diane again looked with the warrior's eyes. Chapter 54. White and Orange. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hey, get up, human, new. It's morning, isn't it night here? And Gugu, I stretch myself and get up. Now in the small boundary where we don't know the passage of time except for the abdominal watch. Again I'm woken up by Maya in one of the arbor-like houses. By the way, the number of houses is fixed to everyone, but what I care about is privacy right now. Oh well, I will show some form of worrying about N0's, Apple, Aurora, but somewhat I am not worried, so they are staying in 2 or 3 houses except for the Baron. Because I don't mind doing erotic things close to the village separately, the Baron wasn't allowed to come to our houses together, so the Baron didn't have much choice but to choose a house for himself. Well, we wake up in the morning, wash our face, take breakfast, look at the sword training of N0's and Aurora, enter the hot springs and hang out with handmade huge chess. The mass is handwritten on the ground, the pieces are scattered stones and trees. Waiting for dinner we occasionally get into the woods to do nasty things and we go to sleep after dinner. Even though we are under arrest, it is a calm day. The climate is good, there is no worry of monsters or worry about meals, so it may be more restful than being in Polka. What day is it with this? Isn't it possible to prepare for the meeting and the time soon? Well, because the week is the number of days to estimate early. Some of the clans are hard working and busy. I don't know about humans, but we know that we are late for a week or 2 and that we have a range of errors. It's loose. We were a little bit indebted to the elves, but we were suddenly caught in the violence. It might be a little poisonous, right? On such a day, I enter an outdoor bath with Maya and N0's under the sun which does not sink. The hot springs are shared with the elves so we can't enter forever and it is quite small compared to the hot springs of Polka, but it is still a valuable enjoyment here, with less amusement. Mew, human. Your penis doesn't enter inside. No, we can't do it in the bath so much, to be precise, if no one comes, we would be able to have sex in the bath, but here it is 30 seconds walk from the Baron's mansion so our voices would be heard all the way. It is not able to keep the appearance if it is estrus separately here. No, the Baron may not be aware of it. Even so. It's not an insult to see a woman's body with a smile, right? Don't be reckless. Or perhaps I should say don't stick close so much. You said small breasts are also good, don't say too much to Maya, Andy. Whichever way you don't do anything nasty right now, and Zeros may be fine with that, but I have been held only once by human and it was painful, so, sorry, be calm, if you think it was bad please serve me today is the day to practice with me, that is unfair. Maya and Zeros glare at each other across me. It's a fun bath, so I think I'll be able to do it later. No. Promise me, or if it's limited, but one day is profiteering. Almu. It is cute that Maya rubs against me while staring at me, but I feel like she is a little too tricky. It is not so much whether it is spoiled enough to say that. Or, I still have not got a collar for Maya. Layla was saying that the collar would also prove the contract of power. I also have to make it for Maya, but here there is no minimum material or tool for it. I wish I had not left earlier. Get out quickly and mate with me soon, Andy. I am with you. Wait a moment, is not it for a longer term? During this noisy conversation, a light rises just above the hot spring. It is the same as when Maya came. Timely, it is about time we will be released for the meeting. It may be that the elves came. No, but isn't this timing bad? I am wondering why bath time is not so bad while I'm flirting with N0's and Maya. To those who ran away, no. Let's say, for example, let's say that the envoy from the other side of this light is Phaser. That male elf is so hard to be in the mood. Well, Maya is nice. She doesn't care about being naked, perhaps I think that she was often naked in front of Phaser. But what about N0's? Is it okay for me to expose the nakedness of N0's to other guys? No. Absolutely not. N0's tits and ass belong to me. Don't run away. If that man came out, there is an obligation to obstruct his gaze. However, it is not a nice picture. Despite the cost, what do I say? But it can't be helped. It is my duty as a man. So far 1.5 seconds. Pashkin, the light burst open. Wah, the surprised and zeros clings to me exactly and Maya looks up casually. What came out of that light is. Hummel. This is different, a bright green robe. A cape-like cloak is made of pure white woolen material. Platinum blonde hair shining like the sun at noon. Such an appearance, Who? I thought that humans introduced themselves first. Looks like Maya, an elf, girl. Oh, I'm Andy Smithson, the son of Polka's blacksmith, Celesta's Northern Army Corps, do you listen until the end? Because I was wearing a tremendous atmosphere that seemed to block somehow, I thought that it would stop shielding soon and look at the expression. You don't need to be impatient, right? That elf seems to be generous enough to be able to talk normally though she is arrogant. I'm a 10-man captain of Celesta's Northern Army Corps Crossbow Corps. And, Maya, future master. Are you embarrassed even if it is said in a question form? A girl with her arms folded walked on the surface of the water and stepped out of the bathtub before her toes. She was standing on the water since a little while ago. It is understood that it isn't the only one by it. The trick of walking on water has not been shown though Diane is good at magic. Well, we usually don't need it. But, is that so, you, the rumored animal trainer, the girl who turned around in the washing place fall on her back? Yup. Because it is a bathroom, water always flows in the washroom and it is moss, so it is easy to fall. I'm different from an animal trainer, but are you alright? No, don't come close. After getting up once, the female elf gets angry. So, you are. You, a female elf with silver hair stood there while worrying about her ass and sleeve that got drenched. I'm, the White Clan's leader, Irina, clan leader. What's with those eyes? No, it is nothing, a girl who looks younger than N0's, is a clan chief. I don't know the position of the White Clan. It is quite, I think that Maya is simple to be trained, Maya makes a difficult face. She may be worrying about which one was trained. That's why I'm not an animal trainer, I definitely like to do eki things wrong. I heard from the Silver Boya story that you ravish women to get them under your control, that phaser. It's not getting them under my control, but they are lovers or female slaves, female slave. I don't understand what is the difference. Irina becomes red. She may be unexpectedly naive. There is no difference, I love to embrace erotic women, when I further declared, and zeros who heard it from the side panicked. What, I am erotic. Erotic, I kept silent after insisting. Yup. I think you are actually an erotic girl. Pretty. Well, here's the thing, let's go up and talk slowly. That's right, she was dignified at first, but because of the fall, I parted from her who has become completely inaccessible. I rise quickly from the bath and wear clothes. And we met at the Baron's mansion. You probably heard that the elves of the northern forest are divided by clans. I'm the leader of the White Clan, Irina. While in the past the Silver Clan was rude to you, the Kingdom of Trot is the owner of the city of Polka. I'm its Baron Duran Gudo and I am honored to meet you. Irina and the Baron greeted each other in their respective forms. And what was the reason for you to come to this place alone? Talking about the Misty Palace dragons, I think that for the people of our northern forest, the relationship with them is important, so we need to talk about the human who corrupted Maya. Her appearance is quite fluent and she has an old-fashioned way of talking with young people. Her words were in contrast to poor Maya. I didn't corrupt her, one of my female slaves was almost killed by Maya and Phaser. I also was nearly killed by them but another dragon saved me. Saying somewhat that it is said that disaster is not cut off, Maya said that we couldn't kill Phaser because it will create unnecessary anger, that's why I took Maya hostage, to drive Phaser away, half-elf. Irina gets a glimpse of N0's and Apple, who are waiting at the corner of the room. Come to think of it, there was a woman in the way to negotiate with Celesta and the Silver Clan grind their teeth on her, that's Apple, but, I will tell you, I won't let Apple be hurt by you. Apple is mine. I won't give her up by using all means, I see. It's something to say to a small amount of human habit, hiding her mouth with the sleeve of the robe. Irina.San laughs with just a grin. Yo, you aren't scared. Are you afraid? Are you scared, boy? The power behind you is a little. But I will not yield, because I have a lot of friends, saying by myself, but it is a downhill remark of awesome gloominess. Hoo hoo hoo. Well, do you see an enemy? Enemy, isn't it? No, but. Phaser is self-confident. Let me tell you a good thing, I am not an enemy, boy. Irina.San stands up, goes next to Maya and strokes her head, whose height is the same. And smiled at the outdoors. New. Did you notice it? A tall elven youth appears to flood from the landscape. It was not a nervous feeling of youngness like Phaser and Cranky rolling out, somewhat familiar feeling, but it was a man of a worldly impression like a sword saint. You. I apologize, to listen so attentively, I am Gorkas, the representative of the Orange Clan, What are these people thinking? It seems that they have no intention to let us out, but still, a great elf came into this prison. I'm of the White Clan, our Orange Clan is on your side. What? Can you give me an explanation? The confused Baron asks me with one hand stroking his dandy beard. You guys, do you know how much elves are in this northern forest? Apple responds lazily to the question of Irina.San. 10,000, yes, 10,000. Only 10,000. 9 clans, evenly divided, 1,000 people each. Sky Blue Clan Princess Irina.San waved a talk to Aurora next to N0's. The forest in the south, what is the number of the Sky Blue Clan? 20,000 enclaves and about 60,000 in the entire forest territory. To be told, 10,000 was certainly too small in the whole forest. The militant northern elves say that if they have a bow, even 100 trot soldiers will be tossed around by 4 to 5 people. Each one is an elite archer who has the ability of an ace knight. It was received as a distant figure of 10,000. It is a vast forest which is said that there is probably about half of the Trot Kingdom through the North Forest originally does not know the whole picture by anyone. There is no foreign enemy, it is comfortable. Only 10,000 there. Far from the capital, Basan is a bit more. You have a face that says you understand, boy. You are gradually beginning to perish. 2 beautiful elves look at us. Everything is because of this forest that is too tender and hard to protect. In the northernmost forest that continues to bathe in ancient boundaries, we need a shock to go outside. The pain to touch the true light comes out of the light spirit's bed. Irina and Gorkas nodded. Our clan is also presenting family members to the Kingdom of Trot through the Red Territory. The opinions are in agreement, because of the turbulence of chi flow, and because of the speed and strength. The lives of the people of the outside world are very strong. We were weakened as life because we were too accustomed to the pure and gentle world. To avoid ruin, you need vitality again. That Aurora saw 2 people. If we deny that effort to scold you and stubbornly retaliate if the whole becomes an opportunity to face out. Yes, for that I want to use you. This is a deal, Sky Blue Princess. Absolutely, it will be very selfish. Aurora said so as if to spit up and looked at them. Rejected, White and Orange Clan leader. What? Staring at the surprising Gorkas, Aurora said with a dignified voice. We do not have anything other than original, so we will never be defeated, so let us know that our defeat is the destruction of justice of the elves. If not, our win and release are definite matters. How do you trade what you have decided? You should ride the horses at best. Good luck, Sky Blue Princess Aurora. The southern forest holding you is envious or terrible. They made a bit of a smile. Very well, to protect yourself against all justice, protection of the whole world. Irina and Gorkas cut out complex marks with aligned movements and give blessings to Aurora. The meeting is tomorrow, good luck. There is nothing to say. Aurora in my heart was trustworthy. Chapter 55. Clan Meeting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Next day. This time the real messenger came and we were brought to the elves' highest power conference. Sky Blue Princess, are you ready for it? What? Can't you hear the sleep? Talking, you're very cheeky all the time, that was said by the swordsman elf who caught Aurora on the way. Young and foolish, you who have been poisoned by humans and dark elves, who lost respect for the spirit of light, bears the name of the Sky Blue clan. The responsibility extends to the discipline of the clan length, which is forgotten with your arrogance. You'd better not think about it when it's over today. Please don't bother me. Aurora smiled at the swordsman elf and punched his belly. Although it is fine, Aurora is an ace knight, the power is sufficient. The swordsman elf was in agony. Be who? A low birth like you who misunderstands cause and desire. Even if you open your mouth in front of me, I will shred your tongue next if you don't stop barking foolishly. Hey, Aurora. I try to stop Aurora, who is overlooking the swordsman elf with harsh freezes while laughing only with her mouth. Good, Andy. San, do not waste your time on them. You didn't come to declare war. Hugh. Aurora sighs. She pulls and grabs the swordsman elf's hair with a rustling feeling. Whether you are dissatisfied with the fact that I am a noble, you are a mere messenger of the Silver Clan and I am a noble of the Sky Blue Clan, so guide us. I'll forgive you for being so unbowed now. But don't forget, if you aren't in the position to talk about the justice of the Northern Forest, you're not the person who can speak the will of the Spirit of Light. She releases her hand. The young elf falls on his butt while having disturbed breathing. Behold, you are a branch and leaf that doesn't have the full command of the clan. You can't even say a word without borrowing the power of your family without permission, talking about ugly personal taste and desire like righteousness. Don't defend your discipline and arrogantly tell what and who you are selfish. If you want to express your opinion, take over the clan and come again. Coo, you can't reply. Even a lowly messenger of the Silver Clan can talk back. Looking down. Aurora fears. Super fear. It seems that there is something like a lion or something intimidating on her back. I apologize for my rudeness. The meeting is here. The swordsman elf eventually yielded. Even if you go upside down, perhaps Aurora is stronger. More than anything, the case as a person is different. The dignity of those who stand above breaks down the despicability of those who do not stand up with sound. Surely Aurora has not only the inner ring of the elves but also the spiritual power and nobility to carry the country. The fact that such a sharp and magnificent girl likes me somehow makes me a little frightful, although reliable. I declare the opening of the clan meeting here. It is an hour to get out of the small boundaries and head towards the back of the forest. On top of the towering trees, the meeting began about 50 meters, climbing the spiral staircase made by staking the trunk of the tree, divided into several scaffolds for each branch and tree, and the meeting began. There is no desk. There is no document. It is only the face of the family of each clan that is in front of me. The head of the Red Clan, Deal, here, a young long-clothed man slowly replied. According to what I heard, the Red Clan is surely a tribe in the area that is in contact with Trot alongside the Silver Clan. Irina and Gorkas who came yesterday say they are sending out people via the Red Clan and their position is close to them. I hope so. The head of the White Clan, Irina, here, direct descent of the Orange Clan, Gorkas, here, are the two of yesterday coincidentally standing side by side in the immediate foothills of us. After Irina replied she made a light wink here. Direct descent of the Cherry Blossom Clan, Christy, yes, a gentle-looking female elf gently puts her hand on her chest and replies. She was also standing on the same scaffold as Irina. San. Their relationship seems to be good. The elves so far didn't have the image of a clan leader, but rather it was a feeling of young people. However, as I felt they look young, I remember that Diane's older brother Carlos was over 700 years old, so I didn't know how old they really are. And, from here, it is an old man who I feel is already more than 60 years old only from seeing. The head of the Gold Clan, Oliver, here, the head of the Purple Clan, Alma, Blue Clan head, Voice, here, the head of the Green Clan, Shaquille, I'm here, and finally. And I'm gassed, in the name of the Silver Clan, we will discuss the petition of the direct descent of the Sky Blue Clan Aurora. I appreciate it, Aurora thanked graciously. Then, let us confirm once more, this is a difference between our defense team and the rescue activities of Blue Dragon Maya. Alright, prying, it was a nasty way of saying, but it isn't a mistake. Aurora nodded while frowning. From the beginning, my Silver Clan has a good relationship with the Misty Palace, the residents of the Blue Dragon race in the back of our territory. The palace itself is out of the bounds, so we look after them as defense cooperators of the barrier and raising up their child dragon. Do you admit that it was a crooked education? Let's admit that our phaser is immature as an education staff. But with his loyalty to the race hasn't yet made a mistake at this time, what? Because of his inexperience, it would be the weakness of phaser to be forced to see the power of a dragon. However, it is not a mistake to have the power. I don't really understand what they are saying. In fact, since this conference is held in elf language, we are asking Apple for simultaneous interpretation. Indeed, it is not possible to ask Aurora, and N0's is bad with elf language. However, it is hard to understand what that Silver Clan head Gast says. FO, foreign enemy. Where was there a foreign enemy? Only the one who was attacked is Aurora, who is an elf noble, Apple who lost her memory, and me who was seriously injured. It is misconduct after enlarging and interpreting it from where it is seen, distinguished enemies by arbitrary worldview. That old man, you're going to say the half-elf over there is a bad person, Yua, Irina.San said so with no indication immediately from the side. Hearing that, Silver Clan leader Gast glares at Irina.San. White, what are you doing? Irina.San responds by putting the sleeve of her robe on her mouth and smiles before responding with a clear voice. Even though the visitors can't understand our words, let's leave them alone. Whatever you do, there is no big deal no matter what you do and no matter what you discuss. Silver. Good. Really, not good, press it down on a nasty little girl. I can't understand that old man's strange call out. It seems that he stepped on being angry with the explanation to me, who seemed to be on the side of the meeting, who seemed to use the Prime Minister at the same time, whatever he was watching by all means. Bad relationship. If we are friends, is it necessary for us to move? That old man is the forerunner of the closure of boundaries. Conservatives who stick to pure blood and purity, such as gentle extinction. Subsequently, Gorkas also came to our side. As you guessed, they are conservatives and we aren't on the same opinion during clan meetings. Even if you lose purity you can't regain it, but you do not understand the argument. Well, there will be a purely worthwhile value to settle. If it is a standard language of humans, it is livery to say that it is a posture which does not refute. 2 and 2 people were able to do. Does he mean the half-elf which is our companion with a foreign enemy? Of course, there is no such a fact. Excuse me, I'm just trying to be far-fetched by the frenzy of Phaser's madness. Then, you can say why there is no fact. Sky Blue Princess, how much do you know about that impurity? If you listen to it more, the impurity, the memory of the past is ambiguous. At least we know the 15 years that she doesn't remember. In the 15 years, do you say that there is a case of proof evidence? Then, at least, the trick degree to which the forest is open to us is doubted. Think about it. How can the bow of the degree to be confused defend the forest? Lads were proud to have shot the human tribe at that time. Even though they are young, it is clear that there is no meaning in the benefit of the forest by shooting the impurity which is known to be a black sheep everywhere. Rather, broadly grinning, old man, Gast laughed. For the other races, she seemed like a silly elf wandering around in the forest. Despite placing a fight on her own, shooting her with the intention of revenge, which martial arts or something that has been saved helps us to do more intimidating negotiations, is it impossible for an ambitious human, Apple opens her eyes. Indeed, the scenario of Old Man Gast had persuasive power. Therefore, humans have little to do with the distinction between half-elves and elves. Wait. Of course, we do not have confirmation with us. That being used to that extent to humans, a witness that doesn't seem to question anything, is not it something at that neck. Daughter of Purple's clan Lunaris, thrown away Apple, on Apple's neck is an old collar. The collar which is the proof that she is mine, as promised by me. 15 years of a blank. It is packed with a thought for me that she hasn't remembered yet. It is a piece of side evidence that Apple is in a state where it isn't surging, and she shows that it isn't surprising to make a resolute determination. An ordinary woman with such a collar is not a thing to thank. If I had thought so much, I suppose that if the memory comes back she will be on our side. She will keep her memory of the situation that would be beneficial to the northern elves and will continue to be an idol of tragedy for the human race in the future. For an elf, it's enough to be called a foreign enemy. There is convincing power that I don't think exists in Gast's scenario. And if you try to ascertain the truth or falsehood, Apple won't deny the speculation of Old Man Gast, whether shaking her head sideways. I cannot do anything if Apple has appealed to having a reason to hide. This is tough. You, Sky Blue Princess. You are not punished for suspicion, or was it certainly Arca's saying? Sorry, but to protect the nestled forest in the northernmost forest, you will be able to understand as much as you don't deserve. If in doubt so far, it is enough for the cause in which the Silver Clan's phaser gets busy, and there is no way for this Silver Clan's boy to recover the lost dragon from their hands without fail. Dangerous. The old people are pushing up. Irina.San, who had been interpreting instead of Apple that got overwhelmed, kept her eyes sharply. Even if Apple will be treated as a traitor as it is, damn it. I can't speak the elf language. What to do, Andy? How do you manage to escape? Hey, White.Nay.Chan, cooperation, can we do it? It's Irina. I'm afraid it's not something you can run away from. This is the ancient barrier, and space is free to some extent. The proposal of N0s and Jean is certainly not realistic. I don't even have any idea how we can get out. Then, fight. Maya, calm down. The holy beast won't keep silent if you disturb the clan meeting. Maya also appealed to Gorkas with an amiable proposal. Damn, what do we do? Is that all of your stubbornness? 10. Man Captain Aurora, behind us, there was a low and gentle voice. Looking back at it, there was a big giant wearing goggles. Oh, old man. How? Good morning, youth, elves, I am disturbing you. As expected, the clan chiefs were also shocked. Who are you, human? I'm a passing traveler, Sir Bonaparte, as usual announces. In addition, I'm someone that instructs the 10. Man captain over there a bit, fool. Someone, bind him up. Several elves pop out with the voice of Old Man Gast and shoot arrows one after another. Are they going to tie him up with a rope after he gets ineffective? It doesn't mean anything. Don't rush, elves. Sir Bonaparte avoided all with a minimum movement. It's amazing how this old man doesn't even seem to be avoiding it at all. Damn it. Hit. Hit. I will do my best, but there is a word of self-defense. Old Man Bonaparte approached the elves who shot the arrows and beat them with a strike. The elves snuck in the trunk of the tree, tremblingly running away. It's troublesome to fight everyone, and I feel sorry for you, so why don't you stop shooting soon? When the old man says, the elves are frightened. Don't be afraid. One human, you can take hostages as well. A white hand goes straight to the neck of the Old Man Gast. Ho ho, you're too noisy and feel impatient. If you don't quiet down, I might accidentally roast half of the forest. Hi, who are you? Andy Smithson's mount, Black Dragon Layla, give up elves. why do you brush yourself? While flickering the dragon body behind the scenes, Layla licks her mouth with her long tongue. It's a troubled meeting. Let's continue with the discussion. Diane and Hilda were on nearby branches. Hilda is waving happily. Dark elves. The forest is defiled, eliminate them. Strange guys, what are they going to do? The elderly elves panic. Irina. Sam momentarily flashes, then giggles. It's impossible. Even this woman, I'm sure, is able to stop all the people of the Silver Clan. What? Celesta's war god, is it? The Dark Elf's trump card that settled the previous war. What? What's the matter? What about the barrier? War, is it war? In the end, clan leaders move around in confusion. Long time no see. Diane, were you in this clan meeting because you became a clan leader? Irina. They are acquainted. If you are mocking for the appearance of sudden colleagues, and Zeros strikes my back. The atmosphere has changed. From here it's your fight, me. Ah. That's it. That's right, I see Aurora is stunned by the rapid deployment like me. That's it. What should I do? Not yet, Aurora. You want to be righteous. You believe that elves have justice, then. Don't stop at your opponent's mouth, so don't be deceived by not being able to prove it or trust it if you don't understand. If you want confidence, look back. Andy, your battle isn't over yet, it hasn't even begun yet. Yes. Aurora looks back. Dignified, bringing back this lion's fighting spirit. Chief of the Silver Clan. If it is the elf's way of the northern forest to kill others at the end of the delusion, this forest is the prison of the spirits that only give birth to monsters. What? It was a place to be swallowed. The disgusting truth is truly a narrow-mindedness that only yourself admits, and it is madness that the theory is armed and oneself and others deceive. You're deceived by the scammer who doesn't do anything, and it is possible to look at everything maliciously and how to have twisted the good intentions of the forest which nurtures life. Rude, Sky. Blue Clan, excommunicate. Shut up, you are so foolish and ugly, and daily you are abusive to the human race which has the strength to stand and live even if deceived or betrayed. It is not because you are sure that you have the illusion that you are noble, and even the ugliness is caught by the kindness of the forest and it isn't reflected on the water surface. Why don't you notice it yourself? If you think it is excellent, kind and correct, you should shake the bulk and jump out under the sun. If the back is defended to a strong forest and the spirit of light, what is the dignity to the person who does not fastidiousness one justice? Overwhelming the elderly people living in this forest, Aurora exclaimed in a determined manner. Don't use the spirit of the forest and spirit of the light, don't use them as a shield. Don't make it your armor. You are their protectors. The square on the big trees calms down. Standing at a branch just above that, slowly looking down, Selenium slowly opened her mouth. It is an elf of the Silver Clan that shot Apple. I swear to the spirit of light. Selenium appears. Finally, everyone gathered. Goo, meme, yeah, you lose, gasped. Jazan, pun, clap. The young long-clothed elf hang his elbow on the shoulder of Gast while grinning. Deal, you are over. Familiar, shut up and be silent. Gast, the Red Clan chief. Deal kept silent till then, but suddenly pushes away old man Gast and gathers the attention of all. And then, although it was quite interesting, the more you change with your mouth, the more elves aren't a soft race. Deal, you, what to say? Irina. San and Gorkas look away from Deal's words. You ought to agree with the outside policy. That, what is it, what does it mean? Anyway, it's necessary. Executive power is, everyone saw, this is what I have to change if this is the case. Deal pointed to Aurora. I want to compete with you, Sky Blue Princess. We would be fine if we could stop even unreasonable wolves. Only the mouth. It's not. Oh, this young man, he understands how to talk with Aurora in this short time. Somehow amazing. Then, that's right, Deal laughs. Till then you must kill the holy beast. Chapter 56. Mansion of the Clan Head Maya. Others. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The ancient barrier that characterizes the northern elves seems to have various functions as well as functions that simply sever inside and outside. It is a relic which represents the ruins of the ancient civilization alongside the labyrinths and the dragon slayers, and it is originally a limited land, setting up multiple points of presence. It seems that it was installed with the intention of using narrow land widely, although I don't understand in detail, Irina and Deal said, feeling to attach multiple bindings and a table of contents to a book, and so on. Even if it walks the circumference outside the barrier and calculates the inside, it is said that it will be about 750 when it sums up and surveys the territory of each clan inside, while it is about 100 wide. I was impressed with Diane and Hilda, but I don't know what it is anymore in my head. If the size of the outside and the inside is different, you're not troubled. You're in trouble, you're forced to get in, and you're going to break it if you think you're breaking it, right? When I hit a simple question on Deal nodded. If the boundary function disappears at a stretch, the ground is distorted to fill the theoretical difference and the whole trace of the boundary becomes a jagged topography over the eastern mountain region, with the least damage being expected. The swaying prospects doesn't stand up to the duplication of existence, and it makes a big explosion involving the northern half of the continent, the land itself, meaning, but we know that we can do it if we want to do it. We are not desperately desperate because of the dates and drunkenness, what a relic of the ancient civilization, it is just an outrageous double-edged sword. And it seems that some of the functions of such an ancient boundary are that they move instantaneously within the boundaries. Even though you can only do so at certain points between the clans, you will walk a considerable distance to the labyrinth where the holy beast is. The labyrinth is the place where the holy beast is. Yes, suddenly an adventurer-like setup is arranged. Night. We were taken to the Red Clan's territory where the holy beast was by the teleportation of the barrier. Of course, there is no reason that there is no inn and shops in a tribal village that refuses to interact with the outside world and is on the verge of ruin. It will be awkward to stay in Deal's mansion. But why do we have to defeat the holy beast? I sat on a bed in the drawing room and asked Aurora and Apple to imagine the circumstances of the neighborhood. Holy beast, I heard that it is a horse of the same size as a dragon. I have heard that it has feathers. It also has 6 legs, it has high intelligence and is immortal. No matter what it looks like, I don't know why Deal says he wants us to beat it because it's a holy beast. Holy beast. It is a mutant of a creature that the flow of chi gave birth as well as monsters. A lunatic monster who loses reason and sometimes obeys its destructive impulse unrequitedly. On the contrary, it is an illegal person who develops intelligence and does not generate mass like monsters, but almost immortality as long as it is under the influence of the flow of the chi of the land. Because of its high intelligence, it is often revered as a guardian of the nation, religion, and land, and it is highly unlikely that a person of the land will oppose the holy beast. Because it is not possible to fight and sell an opponent who never dies. But, Deal says that we should beat it. Possibly, it may be because it is something which never dies, that's why. The holy beast is immortal, but its strength is also a measure. If our power is good enough to make it die temporarily, it will certainly prove that we aren't just talking. Diane nodded. And, if the holy beast is a substitute for the spirit of light, then it may be a kind of priesthood, a passing ritual initiation, to compare the arms with it, passing ritual initiation. In other words, by comparing the holy beast to the old conservative clan chiefs and letting us act on behalf of the innovative clan chiefs, we will let them know the flow of the era without dividing the tribe. It's a punishment for doing it. When I said that, Selenium, who was listening from the side, was laughing. I thought from before, but surprisingly, Andy.San is very religious. Is that so? Yes, you can't eat the meat of a monster when you don't refine it with the salt from the church. You mean, what, we don't like it that much. There is no such thing as God's side. I don't care much about punishment or anything. I'm living a pretty happy life. The tone of Selenium is calm, but what she is saying makes it feel like a severe life. Certainly, it may be a good thing. But I don't think that's what it is. God will punish you, or you want to hit, not like that. Apart from that, I don't want to think that there is no God. Is that so? It is important to thank God. It's important for me to thank someone for being happy. I am alive now, definitely because of everyone. And it is probably thanks to God that I am surrounded by people I like. It seems that I think that this is timing, inevitability, my charm, energy and so on. Anyway, I'm dealing with it myself. But I hate to think so. What makes you happy is that you can live, or someday you will become happy, not only by your hand but more, God, your friends, your parents, your ancestors and maybe someone who doesn't know your name perhaps because he prays. I want to think that someone remembers the words that I loved, what I struggled with, and I couldn't even put them in my mouth. I want to think that the world is woven like that and that it will arrive someday. I'm more than happy to think that I'm not alone. Is that so? Yes, the little sweet idea I've said may be nothing more than silly words to Selenium and others who live longer. But I don't think it's right to be happy. Naturally, I don't think that I was happy. I think that we came here because a lot of people and God who I saw somewhere hoped that I, Selenium, Apple, and everyone could be happy. And always thanks for that. Because I believe in that, I will continue to wish and endeavor. That's right. It may be as Andy says, and Zeros nods earnestly. But it won't be possible to fight the holy beast. Diane makes a troubled face. No, that's why I think. What does this guy playing, Red Clan Chief, deal? The Northern Elves are supposed to be pious to the holy beast and the spirit of light. What is he thinking? Ho! I don't want to talk about difficult stories, yeah. Human, today isn't moving at all. Quickly train. Me, while playing in the water, the dragon pair talks optimistically. By the way, we were applied in the back where there are unnaturally large beds and baths. The Baron and the many clan chiefs who have been there are being given a room of ordinary size. Have a minute. I think this room is somewhat strange. You're going to say it now, because of Andy. Aurora and Diane look at each other and have subtle faces. What do you want? If you think it's funny, get in faster. Not funny, this is, well, not satisfying. What are they saying? There is a room like this in the back of my father's mansion, in my father's and brother's mansion, Minister Ashton, Dior, General Lucas. What is the common term? Andy. Cohen, cute. Ho, my owner is a common man. But if you have a house anyway, do you think it will be necessary? Certainly, those people aren't common people. Deal is also hard to be called a common person, but it is a strange room that such people must have. I put my hand on the chin and think. Why is the bathing ground and bed in the same room? Humidity is not good for the bed material as it is usually considered. It is said that everyone has it. Do rich people also say that they have the habit of sleeping straight up in after taking a bath? I can understand the way it is, and Zero sighed. This is a so-called big story, an extreme story. It's a messy room. Something is useful when the water is near. I am rigid. Well, whatever. I'm not a customer here. Normally, it is a room dedicated to erotic acts that will probably have both Deal, who is an elf's orthodox, and 2 or 3 wives. That's why he lent it to us. I wonder if all the girls who are erotic are related to each other at one glance. Embarrassing. If you think, everyone is comparatively calm. That's it. It seems that people heard from far that you're an animal trainer. I think it's funny that they really believe Andy is one. Well, you're talking about it. You're a boat to cross. I feel like it's a little bit over-driven, but now I'm kidding Andy. San, I'm not going to hide it. I put a lot of hip swinging in here. I'm waiting for you. Maya lifts her hips to show off in the water. I have to do a little. Well, then, do we stand in a row so that Andy can love us for the first time in a while? Everyone, you mustn't move by yourself. It's Andy. Sans training. It's king play, I want you to hug me, is it really supposed to be reserved, Hilda.Sensei? Yes, it's an emergency now, please refrain from being a single person as it is an emergency. And if Andy.San's going to have a house, then every day, it is held in such a lively way, ho ho. This isn't too bad. Well, who is the first to be loved? Everyone took off their clothes and lined up next to Maya. A variety of large and small black and white, but all equally attractive buttocks lined up in the indoor bath. No, somehow, it's a view I can't think of that we are going to the Holy Beast tomorrow, well, my crotch is fired up. I know the softness of every ass and the comfort of every hole. It is an all.you.can.eat option for me without any delay tonight. Quickly human, that, I can see it, Maya.Chan is waiting for you, hey, come quickly. The number of buttocks are the norm of training. Lovey.dovey raw sex training with unsurpassed beauties. I'm getting excited. If you get tired and can't move, that's when I'll ride you, because I and Hilda.San can use stamina recovery magic, please do your best. While listening to the cheers I don't really understand whether N-Zeros and Selenium were ready, but I thrust into Maya. Njayao, human, rough, sorry, I was too vigorous because I was excited. However, while Maya seems to be a little bit painful, she already shows the flame of a dirty pervert in the back of her eyes. You're an idiot, that's your waist training equipment is a female dragon hole, I don't understand, but I'm a female hole that's training equipment, if even Jean is seen by people, please don't wake her up anymore, though she is a painful masochist of a class called military police. You use it a lot, a female hole, exclusive use for your cock, training equipment. Maya, you seem to have been fairly taught in this week, This human, great pervert, my body, already fell in love with this cock. While having sex, Maya confesses with an enchanted expression. This human's lewd eyes, look, womb, aching. Children, I want to become pregnant with a thrill. I want to have my womb filled with semen until it reaches the limit. Ho! How much did you train her, Andy? Hey, normal. This is just because she has a high absorbency. However, this girl, who had been an iron mask until a while ago, shook her buttocks and put in my cock, thinking about the current situation, it is a feeling that she did what she really wants. So. Come, human's cock, come. Actually, Maya, who hasn't had much sex yet, has already started to wear a dull look. I love lewd girls, but I am a little scared if she has a high degree of adaptability. I may be exhausted all the time. No, I've always thought of it since I first held Selenium. Everyone is lewd and too cute. Nah. My fingers dig into this smooth small buttocks, I penetrate Maya's vagina very deep, the cervix pricks a little and I ejaculate. Maya screams happily by turning her back, and she shows exhaustion. Human, what? Maya stares at me with erotic eyes with a stiff neck and shakes her ass. Already, not good, is that so, human's penis, hands, I love really, already, not good. Never let go of me, even though it is a little child, how far? Hey, Andy. You still have a lot of hips. Don't skip your training. Diane's words warn me that I was about to attack Maya again. No. There is still a lot. Still, the skin-colored night isn't over. I mean, I'd rather be the one trained. Chapter 57. Holy Beast Breakcore. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It takes about 2.5 days to reach the labyrinth from the Red Clan village. That means it only takes 5 days to go back and forth. Furthermore, how long does it take to go to the deep labyrinth? Like the large desert labyrinth, it's a labyrinth, which also serves as a traffic route to the hideouts of various tribes, which is rare. An ordinary labyrinth is a robber. A constitution that makes an adventurer get lost and become prey for monsters. I'm afraid it will be late when we get back to the core building in Ba Sun and I need to write a written apology. It's alright, it's better than cleaning up the mess my father did on his journey. There will be no problems if I explain properly. Diane laughs, but, it's Diane. But I'm scared that if I'm not good enough, I will receive a grudge from the minister via Carlos. Even if N0s and Diane are acquitted, it is not impossible to say that only I will be secretly blown away by a galley of the Sea Brigade. I was really scared when I imagined it. 2 days walk, excuse me, Deal, what? Layla asks Deal. Is the sky inside this boundary also a reason why the dragon can't fly? No. Why? Then let's quicken the story. Layla removes her coat in a casual manner. And after an illusionary shock that shakes the brain, she transforms. UOO. BL, Black Dragon. Starting with Deal, all clan heads are stunned. Yes, I want to believe that it's not just that my personality is crooked, but it makes me feel good. Ah, I see, human, me too. Maya claps her hands together and poses to transform. 2 giant dragons appear in the middle of the clan manor. Residents of the clan manor panic. Waiting for the noise to come to a close, we proceed with preparations again. First of all, weapons. We were caught mostly in our clothes while we were running and we didn't have any good weapons. That was told to Deal in advance. Select your favorite weapon. A little tired Deal opens and shows the storehouse behind his house. There were a lot of weapons and protective items, and items I didn't know how to use. Oh dear, the elves just have a range of weapons collected. Aurora and Jean wonder. Of course, the others are also surprised. Roughly enough to supply a 100-man cavalry, there is a surplus amount. The material is pure silver, evergold wave-edged steel. Yuwa, this sword is Hashihagen. You can see it if you look. Jean lifts one of the swords that was around her and brings its belly close to my face. It was woven like a sparkling particle. Why a sword with such an uneven material? It's pretty good. It's equal to or better than pure silver. And thanks to this sparkling look, it's expensive. Bourgeois, pure silver is a material mainly mined around the royal capital and is indispensable for high-grade swords of the royal capital. It's pretty much the same. If you use it, you can go ahead one by one. Anyway, there are no more than 10 people who use such a sword. It is generous, that's why I say it again, but depopulation is in progress. There is no choice but to use only weapons that are not user-friendly. So, this is to be spoiled by the kindness of Deal. This is a bit of a handful. Swords suitable for quick attacks and swords specializing in lightness. I'm enchanted. Everything is good, but there is not much that can beat my beloved sword. And Zeros, Aurora and the Baron are happily selecting while muttering a complaint. I wonder if Diane Dono is also fond of a weapon. There is nothing that I can use, but because the basics are my limbs, as long as it's not a big shot it won't get in the way. Will you get one? Apparently, Bonaparte declines because there is his own great sword. And Diane takes a broadsword that was in her vicinity. If I have a hammer or a maul, well, because it's unhandy, let's get those. Jean and Selenium had each taken a dagger as a compromise. The other members are smiling at first as they don't use weapons. Deal opened his mouth, looking at me who didn't take a weapon, especially for making matters. Is it Smithson? Do you have no weapon? I have never used another weapon than a crossbow. It's a shameful story, but it's just a package when you have something that you can't use. It's okay to use something other than weapons. A cracker, an offensive mantle, an infinite smoke stick. Well, I wonder if all would be useful against the holy beast. Then, for now, I decided to ask even if it is en vain. Do you have a pen that can be used to engrave? I'll try to say. Or rather, there was a guy who could do the same thing with one of the ritual swords. If he writes with the tip, it seems that he can engrave magic lines as well as an engraving pen. A pen was good if you could do it. This is fine if it is a great clam like the one used in the match against Lucas, but it is not suitable for engraving. If it is paper or leather, it cuts. What do you use? Apple, who don't know what I can do, sends a sad look. I was wondering if I could strengthen the clothes of the avant-garde, though, but can you do that, human Andy.san? This is what I can do. I was in a rivalry with Aurora. Well, maybe Hilda's dealing with medical applications on a daily basis, but I wonder if it would be a cinch to do something similar. For that reason. On Layla's back are I, Diane, Hilda, Selenium, Apple, Aurora, and Zeros, Jean and Bonaparte. On the back of Maya, are the Baron and the young elf clan leaders Deal, Christy, Gorkas, and Irina. We take off at the same time. I'm afraid to fly on a dragon after all, Apple, who hasn't taken a ride yet, or just on the time of Phaser and Maya's assault, is clinging to one of the back spines with Selenium. Selenium next to her is humming and imposing. Okay, if you get used to it, it's pretty comfortable, Noel.n, ho. I'm glad you're happy. I'll try to fly with only one shot, S-T-O-P. Apple's half crying is a little cute. And we arrive at the destination in just 1 hour. Underground layered labyrinth. If it's an open-air one, you should jump out all at once. Layla returned to her human body reluctantly. Naturally naked. When I try to give her her coat, she avoided it and suddenly embraced from behind. My ear is licked with a long tongue. Hey, what do you do, ho, there is only this avant-garde. Anyway, while we're free, we're going to go through the labyrinth, so instead of wearing my clothes, you're going to substitute, right? Don't mess around. I forced the naked Layla to wear her dress. The young elf clan leaders watched half with amazement and half admiration of this mischief. I heard that dragon riders and dragons are lovers, couples, brothers, and companions. It's a good thing to get along, ho, this man is a genuine lover who demands only the woman's body without knowing the power of a dragon and its authority. It is also the job of the mount to give as much as he wants. Don't say it's like I'm doing something strange in front of them only because it's your hobby. I'm planning to press Layla to put on her clothes, but when I notice, I'm hugged from below and I'm touched. I would definitely say it's definitely in there if I were to see it from the side. Before going to the labyrinth, it's okay to take a break for about an hour, right? We arrived early, Irina and Christy say so while turning to the other side. Both faces are red. Unexpected head, isn't it? You don't mean that. They're too involved in the pace of this erotic dragon. That's what you want to do, human, if so, amazing Andy.Kuhn. Even though I had 3 rounds yesterday, I didn't even get to ride you. Well, though I was freaking out, everyone got in shape and entered the labyrinth. The front guard is Diane and Bonaparte, and behind them are Deal and Gorkas. In between are, I, Apple, and the others that aren't very useful in rough situations. Layla and Maya, 1 and Zeros and Aurora are the rear guards. Yeah, they're pretty reliable. But now, there are a lot of high-powered people, my friends. General Lucas may not be an opponent now. No, I didn't change much as I wasn't very useful. Bonaparte.Dono, I entrust here to you, good. Diane suddenly disappears, leaving Bonaparte behind. Then, the 3 monsters that were seen in the distance were thrown out at once with Diane's broadsword that was swung and she returned when they were gone. You're like that 100-man Special Duty Commander Becker, is it a compliment or what? Diane looks bad. Even without such a face. Becker. Who is it? Is it daydreaming Zeke Becker? Apple and Bonaparte make a strange face. Don't they know? He was with us in the first half of this trip. He is a very quick middle-aged ace knight, Zeke Becker, what a pity, I would like to meet him as a swordsman. Uncle wants to meet him. Ah. There is a rumor that the damage he made to Trot in the previous war is well over 1,000 people's worth. What? That guy was amazing. Diane smashes and kicks most of the monsters and sometimes Layla burns them as we are moving to the lower layer, with few other fighters coming into play. I haven't been through a labyrinth since my ace night exam, but the atmosphere of the labyrinth may be quite exciting and I like it, is that so? I can't feel this carelessly, I'm from a labyrinth, I don't like or hate it now. While the junior trio is in a peaceful chat, the rock doll which was behind the sidewalk is cut off by Diane who returns afterward. Isn't it possible for her to break through alone? Well well. If that woman is serious, only one clan can stop her, stopping her. Diane is like a demon, hearing the words of Deal and Irina, Diane makes a disgusting face. Who is a demon, in that case how about Calamity, evil spirit, hell instigator? Which one is better even if you used to be naughty a long time ago, the past between Irina and Diane? I want to ask about it for a moment, but I am scared. Seeing that such an expression was appearing on my face, Diane looked at me and then turned her eyes and started explaining. It's not that big of a deal. About 70 years ago, this Irina was caught by bandits while traveling to Celesta, and it was only I who helped her accidentally there, bandits. There used to be a lot. Not the ratio of now. Especially, the hand of the country is not reached easily around the north side from Ophiclade to the large Armani River basin, it was a war at that time. I was told that I could do something with magic, but I was caught quickly and my servants became the comforters one after another. When I accidentally found the hideout during a survey, the white elf had pitiful eyes. Well, I had a good relationship with Dior, so when I killed all the bandits on the spot, there I found this Irina. It was more miserable than I thought. No, I felt mesmerized. A dark elf showed up, killed the bandits one after another and throw away the bandits. No matter whether the opponent is an ogre or a beast person, the 20 bandits were dead in 3 minutes. I didn't think that an elf of the northern forest is traveling in incognito. What about the servants from that time? Half have become pregnant with a foreign child and left, the other half remained, but they will never be able to get out of the forest again mentally, really, as a story about half. Elves, it is a common story. The child who has been born then, becomes like someone's cat in the despair of parents and the persecution of the surroundings, or it is devoted to the master of the life, and it is more than others and it is drowned in a momentary way of life. The warlord's naiveness, the closeness of the family, and the weakness as a living being. These various things are involved and it becomes meager to those servants, but just retreating hundreds of years ago the same thing will happen, so it can't be saved. I see. Was there a desire for Irina to move the forest and the family out of it? More or less, it's a story in any clan. Don't a poor-blooded man be put in the woods and a drowning thing be expelled? That's the same thing for any clan. Even if you hide it, it's even dangerous. It will be abandoned. The life of the elves are long, but only that. If there is no connection with the spirit of light's sleeping place and the family, then no one knows what to rely on to live. That kind of people. In response to the words of Gorkas and Christie, Irina earnestly summarized it. That's it. Yes, no matter what kind of race. The land and the sky are not enough to live there. Aim to live, work with supporting families and friends and work to live. If you take everything away, it is as good as being killed. Only a few can find hope ahead of it. The feeling of fear is also something that can't be ruled out. Fool, Deal spit it out. The sleeping place of the spirit of light. The purity of the clan, it doesn't mean anything. The spirit of light isn't there. Because it is pure, it doesn't get what. Now the elves of the northern forest are the only one who will do it. It is only in the world where the stimulation thing is to erase, and the purpose is to be able to have a long life. Therefore, Deal, who stopped, suddenly hit the wall with his fist. A line of light suddenly ran on the wall. Rainbow light like a dragon slayer. And the wall opens in front of us. Arrive, intruder and volunteer elves. Here is what is called the holy beast, Deal. Deal sings and praying, looking to the back of the dark open wall. So necessary. Alive and dead, still willing to pray for a future connected with something. Still waiting for something to be born and dreaming of the future, the will of living life. That is, what are you saying, Deal. Irina takes a step at Deal. In the deep darkness ahead of it, a light suddenly turns on and spreads rapidly. And the white light is full. Look, it's a desperate thing that changes nothing as crazy and only hopes to exist. It's the end of an endless life that no one can spare. There was a huge creature there. A huge horned horse, what was supposed to be? What's this? It is everyone's first impression that Apple muttered. There are a lot of heads, feet, horns, eyes, ears, and bones. There is a full, white lump which grew them unprincipled. Ho! What a bad taste this is, the holy beast. Deal nodded to Layla and Maya responses. For example, if you are the only one, and you are in the eternal silence that never dies no matter what you do, what will you do? Look for a rider and make a bound with him. It's a dragon's destiny, but the holy beast cannot go far. It can't search for anyone, though it might be tedious. It's not a hopeless case, but, the holy beast though, if you never die, why not split up yourself and make a conversation partner? What is it? The holy beast divided itself with its mighty power. The other side was able to speak. Deal says so indifferently. The split and double-headed holy beast talked to its other self about a lot of things, but in the meantime, they got bored with each other and split up again. Some of the splitting heads wanted to have their own feet. Some had fun with their own eyes. The holy beast had no control over its own divided bodies. It was alone. However, the mighty power was shared and many bits of intelligence freely destroyed each other, smashed them and became a tool of play that was not dead, wasteful or meaningless. Well, it can no longer control it. Why such? Why do you know that? About that, Deal laughs. The smile was similar to the face of the horned horse for a moment. No way. Irina is astonished. What does that mean? The rare and serious face of Layla answers my question. Ho, Red Clan leader Deal seems to have been replaced. Into the ugly mere shadow of one's former self, break grain, What happened to the real Deal? Gorkas shouts. Deal shrugged. Isn't he right around here? Meat. White meat. It doesn't have the muscle, viscera or skin of the holy beast. Why is this? Because I haven't done it. So I can't help saying that the sleeping place of the spirit of light alone, such a thing should be known to the clan meeting. As I expected, one of the irritated clan heads has come. That's just because. I can go outside if I think of dying when I'm away, so I read his memories, made a transfer, and went out instead of Deal. A very good timing. It was good to bring you here before the destruction. Deal slowly kneels. It curls up. And he continued to speak. Deal is alive. Help him if you want to help. And you decide what to do with the holy beast. It is not decided by the holy beast itself anymore. You can seal it, burn it with dragon breath. If you can't do it, you won't complain. It's a holy beast. But if it can be done, it was a substitute for Deal, who raised his face. Why don't you try to undo this holy beast breakcore and try not to split it apart? The original is me, this is the way it is, just hope that it is there. It is good to endure loneliness unnoticeable to anyone else, and it is good to increase to many things, but just without knowing justice other than maintaining the status quo. It is an obscene creature that can only choose the future that is self. Love, has no meaning, and only ties together in the body. It was an end, resembling that of the forest elves. It was Deal who turned into pieces of meat and returned to the holy beast as if being attracted. Please help Deal, please. Christine Gorkas head down. Irina is shaking while holding her mouth. To be honest, I would like to forgive them for such a serious thing. Hey Layla. What do you think is so lonely that you split yourself and you want to talk to someone? I don't know, but it's a pretty poor fellow. That's right, we have each other. I have a favorite partner. So I can't imagine such a thing anymore. However, The holy beast was so lonely that it wanted to see someone else besides itself. At the end of the day, it has become something like this, far from the conversation. As it is, there is no future. I want to do something somehow. Well then, Layla, I'm sorry, but I would like you to fight, Ho. You are my owner. You can tell me what you want. Good, I see the faces of everyone behind me. There was a sense of war all over the place. Let's do it. Chapter 58. Deal Rescue Strategy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. For the time being it is good to have raised the mood. Ho. First of all, Deal, we have to dig out his body. Suddenly it is a difficult problem. First of all, the chunks of white meat of this holy beast are super big. Even if it says a room, the room to say in a labyrinth is a very big one. It's a normal room, but it's almost a house. The large room of the deepest part is the enormity of whether one side is 150 meters. It is said that it is in the size of about 70%, and Deal is somewhere in this fierce, feeling bad state that covers only 3 to 5 meters in height with meat. While Deal is somewhere, we can't just burn up the holy beast with Layla's breath. We're making no progress. Let's tear it into pieces at once. As Diane approaches with the broadsword in one hand and swing it down, a horse's leg was suddenly generated from the inside of the meat and suddenly jumped out like a back kick. What? Diane avoids it barely with a back roll and takes a distance. The legs just stick out of the meat and are shaking. It's like a bad active slime. One of the horse's head sticks out to that side, so it might have recognized Diane as an enemy. It's very troublesome. Aurora says so to Diane, who makes a bitter face. If so, cut off the protruding heads one by one. It's a lot of work, but it's worth trying. Sir Bonaparte lined up next to Diane. And Zeros and Aurora also advanced next to them. They nod to each other and dash out silently. Ta! Eei. The heads of the horned horse are being cut off. Diane and Bonaparte are almost like mowing, in contrast to Zeros and Aurora, who slammed with their full strength. There's no need to do everything. To a certain extent, a few seconds after the start of the attack, the kicking of the legs from the meat begins. Diane and Bonaparte avoid it vividly. And Zeros seems to have no more power to do so, so she hurries up and gets away. This time, no head is no longer sticking out. There may be a head buried in the meat. That's not good. And Zeros bites. Damn, isn't there any way to help? Aren't there any measures? Hilda.Sensei, no, Apple.Chan. It has a lot of such heads, and even if we cut them off, it's a cool creature. It's not the scope of medical knowledge. Absolutely. And Zeros, can you not attack from a distance with shockwaves or something similar? Don't be stupid. You know, that's a little killing force. It can only be used for restraint. I mean, such a meatloaf. Is that so? It will be blown away, but it doesn't get injured very much itself. No, not so, Sir Bonaparte says while kicking the legs away one after another. It depends on how you type it. This kind of trick is also possible. His large sword smashed the legs growing together, and the back of the meat is attacked with a backswing from the whole body, tossed a blow. And, a mass of meat, bursts violently. Yua! Sir Bonaparte. White meat scoops up and there are holes and blood clots as large as 10 meters. If you look at the body of a living thing, you'll get a water bag. If it's fluid, there's no way it can cause a blast attack. Sword Saint seriously is scary. Selenium nodded to the impression on my face. But if you beat it, will you pass through Deal, who is supposed to be inside? That's right, it is pointed out by Diane, and Bonaparte is reluctantly returning to the head removal. Yes, medical common sense goes beyond anything. Is there a seed that can locate Deal? Hilda.San. What do you mean? When you treated my feet, you might have measured the state with the flow of magic or something. It's a category of medical common sense. There is a pattern in the flow to the healing of a human body. Ah, clap, Hilda. San claps her hands together. Yes, this isn't a mere creature, but it must be regular in the flow of macroscopic life energy. Then it should be possible to figure out foreign bodies from the bias of vitality when it is hurt. What Hilda.San is saying suddenly is a different dimensional language-like thing of her. Everyone get back. We wait for recovery. Wait for recovery. Suddenly Hilda.San started to petition. That's right, now the holy beast, Breakcore.Chan is like a slime. All in one. Essentially this kind of life with excessive recovery is biased in energy and it requires a large amount of recovery. And it is a premise that it is easy to wear out, so the performance is biased so that it can be recovered quickly with a little power, but it has infinite recovery power and it can limit the whole brain, legs, mouth, and viscera as a whole apart from the split parts. Maybe, the energy is equally distributed everywhere, Conversely speaking, the volume and shape of the whole can be used to calculate the amount of energy that can be sent back. If there is a part that swallows and maintains a foreign object when something is greatly damaged, the amount of energy from that part will stagnate. So we just have to specify the place in the way of triangulation, right? Difficult. When I make a loud noise, Diane looks amazed. It's not difficult. The point is to stand around and listen to the sound and narrow down the location of the source by specifying the direction where it was heard with 2 points. It's just that, I understand it somehow but life energy and so on. Indeed, Hilda.San looked a little troubled. It's good enough to be able to calculate the overall volume bias, we look at our faces. In other words, we have to look over this pile of meat and see where it's going to be concave or swelled up. Maya transforms into her dragon's form and raises her head to the ceiling. On top of that, Old Man Bonaparte and Selenium got on, and a volume identification operation began. The other end has a head. It's probably an archetype, maybe 4.8, no 5 yes, he is not here, 50 centimeters deep, round dish. 7 meters in diameter. The right eye of the Old Man Bonaparte has good vision and special performance. I overlook the space, he said. This seems to be an extraordinary spatial grasping ability that can grasp visions and boundaries visually and always, as well as grasping the distance to an object, and the size and length measurement with eyes, almost accurately. For Bonaparte. Dono with that eye, it's not possible to beat him with the crossbow core, Diane size. Well, it was horrible to have such an outstanding swordsman as an opponent, but it was a powerful performance. And Selenium is a sketcher. The lining of the cloak that I borrowed from Deal as a traveling dress, she draws the sea of meat in a bird's eye view. It was only because the dragon body was smaller than Layla that I made Maya take the leading role. It was likely to have stepped on the edge in Layla because it had only filled 70% of the room. Done, the sketch was completed in about 30 minutes. From there, Hilda begins to estimate the amount of energy. I think, but it's not so different from drinking a single serving, if you believe in the fakes who say live being swallowed in such a sea of meat. I don't know how long he has left here, but keeping the people who have been captured alive in order to do that, there must be some sort of energy allocation, whether digesting or keeping it alive for some reason, something must be used more than the volume of the meat is decreasing. In war, if you kill the enemy soldiers in half rather than kill them completely, the enemy will lose much of their strength. Diane, how about that? Apple doesn't look at the blood, meat and various corpses. It's almost right. If not, he was a fake liar, or he was very tough, and after being taken in, he opened a hole in the floor and ran away. Anyway, it is good that Layla.Chan does not hesitate. Ho. Leave it to me. Layla sets her chest with her arms folded. Gorkas had a slightly uneasy look looking at us who made and implemented the holy beast measures from non-standard. Hey, Irina. I have a feeling that if we do bad, we might have put our hands on people who are more fearful than the military. At least you should be happy that you didn't have to do something to buy a grudge against the expulsion of the executioner. Christie also nods to Irina's words. Unexpectedly, it was the deployment as it was shaken by the fake deal. If we can manage to beat the holy beast here, at least, the elves of our clans will acknowledge them as worthy, I hope so. The calculation is over and the meat mass of the holy beast has almost healed its wounds. At the point where Bonaparte blew up earlier, it was completely fine again. Diane also holds the broadsword in line symmetry position. If Deal is in that position, it's out, bet that side. Hilda.San can easily say it off, well, I can't help but be mindful. So I make the command. 3, 2, 1, go. The blood column stands at the same time from each position of the meat and two people. The meat mass was scooped out almost as much. Diane, with an unfamiliar one-handed sword that doesn't have the size or weight, can use the same power as Bonaparte's great sword. Recover energy, red. Yes. Selenium, who has the knowledge of healing magic, sees the meat mass with Hilda.San. Their eyes should be able to see the powerful recovery energy of the flesh that is filling the wound. There is a recovery abnormality. Left, well 20 degrees, strength 20%. Right 40 degrees, strength 40%, alright, down there. Two people identify the direction. At the same time attacks flew out from the surrounding of the meat mass. Dangerous older sister. Bend down Selenium. Kuan. At the same time, Diane and Sir Bonaparte clear off the leg attacks. However, immediately after that, a sharp thorn squeezes out of the meat that has been blown off halfway and diagonally behind Selenium and Hilda. It's a horn. Symbol of a horned horse. It peeps as an odious trap. Behind. I start to run, but I can't make it to the horn where it rushes out. But. Hiya. Aurora and Enzeros, who were close to me, were launching shockwaves at the same time. It eases my feet and overtakes. Or blows myself off, not a thorn of a wound of a mass lump, but directly hits 4 people there. Uzoa. Kaya. 4 people who flew away escaped the threat of thorns by a hair's breadth. Layla. Maya. Ho, I know. The 2 instantly become dragons and stretch their head and wing membranes under the 4 who fly in the air and catch them. 2 legs kicked into their bodies from the bottom, but they don't feel anything. There, yes, Layla confirmed with Hilda and grasped a mass of meat with her claws. I could see something like a membrane of an unfamiliar egg in the back of the deep open wound. Be careful, if you're kicked this way, it's dangerous. Layla's head, arms, belly, is kicked from the legs of the mass. Anyway, the first shot, if the kicking keeps coming, again and again, you sway yourself. Leave it to me. Jean rushed out there. In her hand is the Hashihagan dagger she got from Deal's mansion. Ho, Jean, I'm relying on you. Layla received the legs with her body and pressed her body down so as to protect Jean. From the gap of her body, I also jumped in and struck a sword to the meat mass. 10. Man Captain. Hurry Jean, I can do it as long as I dig meat, it is a good skill. Jean returned a bloodstained smile and digs Deal out at the back of the meat wall. Only a few minutes of work felt like hours. Layla is kicked by a lot of legs on her back and is painfully enduring. It may not be just legs. She may have been attacked by sharp thorns that pierced the dragon's wings. Layla will take it all to protect me and Jean. She will never retreat. So we have to do it quickly. 10. Man Captain, there's no way. My hands are dull. Bah, bad, even though I say so, I am only doing half the work of Jean. Dwarves are strong. No, because I'm working hard for Layla. Damn it, that's it. It's not a moment when I'm invested here. Layla. And Jean. I'm their master. Don't give up. You're just tired. The enemy is strong. 10. Man Captain, I'm Layla's master. With her, I decided to make everyone happy. I encourage myself. If you don't have a weapon, throw a stone. If you don't have a stone, you'll have to throw sand. There's still something you can do, lighting up the possibilities in me. I am not the strongest warrior. I'm not a hero chosen by God. But I was not like that. Other people are. There should be more I can do. Jean, stay back. Dot. Let's go. You. The sword splits the meat. I engrave light on the meat. The technique turns it into a shield that prevents the fist of an ace knight from just paper. Turning it into a sword, then it can cut an ebony desk. And if you turn it over, you can use a piece of paper as a shield to prevent an ace knight's fist. I asked for this kind of technique and I use this sword. It can. Yes, to me. It's not a break, but a remake. There is a power to overcome any troubles with ingenuity and cooperation. Jean, now cut. Having carved a rough crest in a minute on the whole surrounding meat wall, I open up a place for Jean. Jean seems to have been captivated by my weird movement, but as said by me, she waved her dagger. Yua. And I was astonished that the wall was cut more easily than pudding. What did you do, 10-man captain? It's so good, get deal quickly. No, this technique, Jean didn't see the real thing. Deal was wrapped in something like egg thins. I carry Deal with Jean and get out of Layla's belly. And I was surprised to see Layla's appearance. Layla. Coo, ha, you were quick. I thought it will take a little more time. While Layla was stabbed at the corners of her body, she was eating, smashing, and fighting hard at the heads that pierced the corners. She can't move her belly. It's good already, Layla here. Ho, let me do it. Before being able to finish her words, Layla became a human again and fell to the ground. A lot of legs attack Layla, just waiting. And Zeros and Aurora slipped in and made it in time. Take this. Up there. Aurora's sword cuts off the legs and Zeros' sword blows off the mass of the feet. And Zeros, has she already learned everything? Move back, Andy. Step aside, human. And Zeros lifts Layla and withdraws. Behind me, there was a great cold wind around me. Dot. Maya's blizzard breath. Freezing hell that freezes the room at once. It's a formidable skill in a room where there is no escape. And everyone jumps out of the room and the meat mass freezes. Ha, 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 mission, the first phase ends. Ah. It's still the first step. Chapter 59. The determination to save. You are listening at novelfull.audio. There were a number of stabbing wounds on Layla's human body. Rather, I now know that the wounds she suffered in her dragon form will remain in her human form. Ho ho, that holy beast was able to pull the scales off this black dragon. Elder sister Layla, don't make such a miserable face, Jean. It is not a big deal. Layla smiles while saying so, but 7 to 8 round red blemishes on the front of her upper body, such as arms, chest, flanks, and neck, which can't be concealed, or rather she is scolded to dress her clothes, which is painful for Jean, who would like to keep her eyes down. Hilda.San, take care. Yes, but I wonder if the medicine works well for dragons like humans and elves. When Hilda opened the first aid set, Layla frowned. Ho, don't waste it on me, it's a waste of medicine. But hey, look, Layla points at a wound on her neck. Painful opened wound. It shrinks and disappears while we see it. Ho. I can't say that I'm the strongest creatures in the world, but, let me rest for a while. It's my physical strength that accelerates the healing of wounds by force. In addition to unmatched fighting ability and flying ability, a questionless breath, it is another order of magnitude to recovery. As long as no Dragonslayer attacks her, she will be untouched. According to Layla, it takes about 3 hours to wait for the wounds to disappear naturally. Maya, what about Breakcore? Alright, it's frozen. I think I'll hold it for a while if I spray it this much. Maya's little illusion image crawled on my shoulder. Maya's main body is suppressing the outflow of cold air by using her body now at the entrance of the Holy Beast room. If she doesn't do so, we who have escaped to the corridor will also freeze. Let's think about the next trick in the meantime, Diane says while wiping the blood from the broadsword. Next trick. Yes. Ending up right back where one started to smash it. Together with Bonaparte. Dono, Diane sees Bonaparte. He also nodded. You could see the part that was blown off, but it was back by the next shot. It's still good if the smashed part has been decreased rather than back to the original. It is good to see that the prototype as an immortal creature is already fixed in that shape. And Zeros and Aurora look at each other. Is that so? Then, even if it is burned without a trace or make it to buried charcoal, it can't go back to a horned horse. Yes, it's just a waste of time, Diane asked. Deal is rescued. The holy beast is immortal. We can't do anything. Even if you give up, no one will blame, more or less. If we don't kill it once, the old elves will have an excuse. Layla, who has recovered her strength while sitting cross-legged, also raises her neck and defends. But it's too much to be saved, I think desperately. Everyone also haven't lost the spirit of war from their expressions. It was like that. Holy beast, how to restore the holy beast? If it's a normal malformation, you can get rid of it by surgical operation. It's not normal. Maybe you'll stick to it as soon as you cut it, or you'll grow the same thing. Hilda. Sand's proposal is rejected by Diane. Even if you say rejection, it is a category of a premise in the first place. Do we have any trick to stop the regeneration after we destroy it? For example, gonna burn the wound and stop it. Sir Bonaparte shakes his head to Jean's proposal. There is no subject of regeneration for the holy beast. Even if you burn the wound in the middle and hold the regeneration only on the spot, the regeneration starts from somewhere else first. Even if you cut the arm off and burn the wound, it will regenerate a finger first, then smashes the end part infinitely. Yes, Jean's plan is also dead. It is not said that it is immortal if it makes it to the extent to burn well. How does it work with magic? And Zeros murmurs. Well, if it is not good enough to do it normally. But can you use magic to block the natural healing? I don't know that much about it. It might be a trick to say that the poison of Trent's disease is thrown in, but it's only a matter of how happy it is with its current state. Hilda and Selenium are said to be unreasonable, in a roundabout way. The holy beast originally has the mighty magic background of holy chi. With Hilda, who is a healer, and Selenium that can do it a little with small instruments, it's like they are trying to compete with an ant's arm against a human's arm. Then, all doors closed, is it? And Zeros is stunned. Of course not. There should be no such thing. Magic, Andy. Cohen, what are you thinking about? You know, magic is convenient, but the power that can be handled is not so great. Anyway, if the holy beast and the spirit use it, usually the breakthrough is, no, wait for a moment, Diane, it was a flash. It was the flow of holy nature that made the holy beast a holy beast. That's it. This is a labyrinth. Accumulated with chi, that's right. If so, let's borrow the bad feeling. What are you saying? If we mix the bad feeling to the source of the power that flows into the holy beast and put it in a state of plus or minus zero, at least the inexhaustible resiliency should not be usable anymore. So you're telling us how to do it. If you can prepare a complete picture of this labyrinth, we can do it. Labyrinth. It is the legacy of the ancient civilization with the ability to adjust the chi flowing through the natural world. Why is it in the shape of a labyrinth? It is said that it is because chi flows through labyrinth-shaped passage. Same as the crest. By making a constant movement, chi is transformed while dissipating the influence on the surroundings. The nature which flows in the labyrinth will create monsters, while the seal measure of some degree is done automatically and it is somewhat clean and goes through. There is a natural device similar to the natural world. Many places are said to have such a function, like a large forest or a mountain. Many holy beasts are generated in the immediate vicinity of the labyrinth by the chi cleaned in this labyrinth. Holy beast breakcore is no exception. Here is the deepest part of the labyrinth. A spout nozzle that is just cleaned out. That's why it is infinite power. But Modifying the labyrinth and just let Breakcore accept the bad chi that is used for giving birth of monsters temporarily. Destruction of a labyrinth is the worst sin. Andy, you know what happened to the east of the Snake Mountain Range? From the east of the Snake Mountain Range to the land north of the continent was said to be a rich land with 7 kingdoms. However, people at a time who didn't know the power of the labyrinth regarded the labyrinth that produced monsters infinitely as the root of all evil and destroyed many. And the monsters were born uncontrollably on the earth, and 6 kingdoms were destroyed and turned into a world feared by people. The country called Renfanga's kingdom, that was the only country left out of the 7 kingdoms, was fiercely fighting with the monsters who are still rampant. A labyrinth that has been calculated and arranged by the ancient civilization causes only the destruction of order by destroying only a few. But we are not trying to do that. Can we do it? We can't be saved unless we do it. You can say that you can do it. In the meantime, Diane had the face of a 100-man commander. The face of a commander who is responsible for the upcoming battle. What we're trying to do is unheard of. There is no guarantee that we can do it. Chi is the power of nature. We don't know how the people in the past did it, but it's like rearranging the structure of firewood with the fire in the firewood. But let's try it. That's it. Unless we do it, the holy beast will suffer forever. We were asked to help, so can we leave it alone and go home? That's why we can be proud of us doing it. Gnav ho Diane, isn't it good? Layla, I will go with my master. I believe. My master's heart is justice, its fate is not good. That courage is justice. Layla heals her remaining wounds quickly and stands up. I also go along with Andy, a trial originally imposed on us from the beginning. We can't run away, let's follow. If elder sister Layla and 10-man captain will do it, I can't do anything, but I am going to. It's Andy.San decision. Selenium, I'm not really useful, but I'm with you. Okay, Andy is pretty timid with this. Let's not overdo it. Everyone supports me. Diane sighs. Sir Bonaparte, Sir Guto. You go back first, ha ha ha. You're kidding. If I run away from such a big job, I will lose my name as a swordsman of Trot. A youth of Polka is facing the danger that started with Polka. Where can this nobleman escape and hide? Both middle-aged sirs laughed at the option of withdrawal. When we heard that the earth was sounding. Maya. Chibi Maya, who is on my shoulder, shakes for a moment and has a painful face. Holy beast began to move. Maya again. Blizzard. Ku. Maya, who is showing only her tail from the passage, is seen. And again, the sound of the earth shaking. It doesn't work. Use, Kaya. Maya topples sideways. Good, pull back here. Maya turns into her human form and rolls away. Holy beast is seriously angry. Several heads of the horned horse have broken through the ice and are looking at us. And the air is distorted when I think they're looking out. Dangerous. Cool. Day. Bonaparte with the palm of his hand, and Zeros with the sword, and Aurora with the sword made a shockwave. In the middle of the passage, the attack from Breakcore and the shockwaves collided and a gust of wind came here. Shockwave, what? That's Breakcore's original attack. There was a voice from behind. Seeing, Deal was awake. I'm going to hit it inexhaustible. You really want to do something about that Breakcore, human, Yua, I'm coming up a bit. Damn, do it. Chapter 60. Battle against the Holy Beast. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The passage from the room of the Holy Beast turned out to be the spout of the shockwave waterfall while watching. A wide-range attack in a narrow space converges and transforms into a formidable force because there is no escape. The shock wave that the Holy Beast strikes is also not as easy to control now. Even Bonaparte and Enzeros, who had their own shockwaves and avoid a direct hit, were unable to suppress the ensuing shockwaves and they were knocked back and hit the wall. Gaha. Gyumi, this, Further attacks are imminent. Lord Bonaparte raised his goggles to assess the attack, and he barely rolled around, but N-Zeros couldn't do that. Shockwaves attack again and they are overwhelmed by the shock waves and they hit the wall again and again without even a breath. N-Zeros. Holding me who is trying to jump out constantly, Diane jumps to N-Zeros from the side and rescues her from the front firing angle of the passage. But even Diane was caught in the shockwave while holding N-Zeros and it seemed that she managed to crawl over the wall and somehow escape. Everyone get away the wall. Deal screams, holding his hand on the wall, he breaks a complex mark and casts a spell. Then, a rainbow-colored light runs on the wall and the passage closes while being absorbed by the shock wave. Ha, ha, Deal falls on his knees. Did you really do it, human? Restructuring a labyrinth to break the nature of the labyrinth, Deal, almost naked figure with a thin skin that is still attached to bare skin. Deal opened his mouth, as he is taken care of by the other clan leaders and is covered in a cloak. With the entrance to the forest, we are also in charge of the management of the Holy Beast's labyrinth, and it was my fault that I didn't notice the strangeness of the Holy Beast. It should be able to get rid of the Red Clans. I thought he would say that he was going to do something, but when I think about it, it was a knock-off line. He is too embarrassed to have too much of a face. It is also self-employment of the Holy Beast. No one else has the responsibility of being a variant left to its immortality. And it cannot be said that even if the Holy Beast is put back, it doesn't become the same thing again. This can't be said to anyone, that is, what you do may be too dangerous or mean nothing. I know, I kicked off Deal's warning backward. Who should be responsible or not meaningful? How about such a thing? If you are a lonely and crying child, an adult who is angry because he has a weak heart or because you consider the convenience of an adult, it isn't a big deal. I clench my fist. When I can help, I will be there. When I can reach it, then I will do it. When I saw such a sad fellow, I pretended that he was wrong and the future was gone, so I gave up and decided to go home. If you might see yourself hurting, do you withdraw? I don't mind being stupid if such a guy is wise, that's it. Half-elves are so oppressed and abandoned. I don't intend to imitate it. I am a man who put a collar on Selenium, Apple and N-Zeros. So it's not good for me to abandon them. I'm going to do it. Again, the future. A peaceful shared future with everyone. Ah, the only beast in the future, just not open to it. What is justice? What is all things in nature? What is the spirit of light, the happiness of us? Now is the time for us to live. That kind of feelings of someone who is older than us, such prayers have been born in piles. I believe so. I have a duty to connect it to someone else ahead. I believe that I am here for that. Understood. Deal closed his eyes and smiled. In the name of the Northern Forest Elves, Red Clan head Deal. Bless him with all the blessings. Deal cuts a complex mark and blesses me. The blessing of a clan head is a promise of all permission and support under his authority. Aurora smiles beside me and nods. Leaving N-Zeros to Hilda, Diane also stands up. Was it all about the labyrinth? In other words, what should we do to make the map of this labyrinth? Sir Bonaparte lowers his goggles and laughs outrageously. Maze mapping. I did it when I was young. Deal lays down a spare cloak and starts drawing the map there. We only know the top layer, the second layer, and the shortest route so far. All you have to do is look at the other parts, but, in the last few hundred years, even the population of organizing a labyrinth capturing corp inside the clan isn't even, and the monsters aren't cleaned up at all. Ah, I see. Because Deal was sleeping all the time until now, old man Bonaparte and Diane, he doesn't even know the existence of Layla. I will go, it will be a good rehabilitation. Diane and Sir Bonaparte smile with a grin and throw away the sheath of their weapons. We will go too. When Selenium stood up, Maya and Jean followed. If you are alone, it will be dangerous. If you encounter a monster, we will help too, and, as the last party, with Aurora as the leader, the clan heads other than Deal lined up to solidify the side. Dark elf. Please take care of Deal. I did not mean to spend 70 years unnecessarily, don't forget, I have a little confidence in my sword. Together with the sky blue princess, yes, hoo, I didn't think it would be time to fight with the nobles of the northern forest side by side. Diane and Sir Bonaparte are 2 units each and 2 other units are led by Selenium and Aurora, for a total of 4 units of labyrinth search. The Baron is staying here, and Zeros, Layla and Deal rest and Hilda. San nurses them. Since I and Apple are not useful in earnest in such a scene, we stand on the side. I'm jealous and this is cool, but it can't be helped. It took half a day for everyone to explore the labyrinth. With 4 units, it is quite fast if you only know the route. Still, it seems that there were some scenes in Selenium's units as Maya came back quite tired. Now, Andy. Cohen, here this is the problem, yes, completing the mapping of a complex labyrinth with a cloak lining and read it in 3 dimensions. If you talk about the extreme, the goal can be achieved if the labyrinth function itself breaks down no matter where it is broken. The problem is the way to make the most damage and effectively reduce the chi cleansing function. If you break it here and bypass it, it just doesn't make much sense just to add 1 loop. Is that so? But if you connect the main line anyway, it would be a hindrance to escape when it comes to block, that's right. On the other hand, we share wisdom with Hilda and wonder how to remodel the labyrinth. Aurora also participated in the race and it is a strategy meeting. What about drilling holes vertically here? I see, that way, how do you break the floor? It doesn't even collapse even if 10M class monsters go wild. That's right, 3 hours for the meeting. In total, more than a whole day passed since we came to the labyrinth. It was the recovered N-Zeros that has broken the situation. A hole in the floor, unlike the wall, it isn't easy to bury it, but what do we do? I found that if we open another one, we could counter it to some extent. The problem is the digging method. Layla's dragon body can't move and Maya is just the last mean. I wish I had a hammer that fits me, Jean roars, but it can't be helped. Worst, getting out for tools once, a hole and Zeros thinks. Let's just do it, Take me to that point, do you dig? Dig together, My sword that can engrave a crest on the point. And Zeros' idea was to change the nature of the floor with engraving. If we use the crest that softens the floor, we can temporarily dig with a sword, etc., but if we dig enough so that the crest disappears, it won't change much in the process by re-engraving. But if I write a crest that softens the floor, in a gel-dot-like manner, will then N-Zeros' shock wave that she learned from Sir Bonaparte be the hammer? If we do well, we may be able to do it at once. That's why I finished engraving the crest and N-Zeros is ready. Dia. N-Zeros' sword that jumps up from the upper row strikes the floor. It makes an explosion sound and the next moment it explodes. Goon. The earth and sand blew up and a hole opened. And then Zeros fell down without landing. I was punished by having my whole body covered in sand thanks to the powdery floor material that was crushed below. Thus, the air of the labyrinth has changed dramatically. Now, the rest is finished, ho. It's finally time to go. Usually, the labyrinth has a little repair function and some building material damage is gradually repaired along with the flow of chi. However, no major damage is expected so as to completely change the flow of chi. From now on, this labyrinth will continue to shed dirty nature that it does not seem to have passed through the labyrinth unless it takes some measures. A whistle was thrown. Deal, open it, understood, I'm telling you, even if we are not immortal it doesn't mean that we can't win, I know, Deal roars and puts his hand on the wall and casts an opening spell. Layla and I are here. It is said that the holy beast attacks with a breath. Wait. If you're hit by such a shockwave breath, you can't release your breath. What are you saying now? Layla smiles unbearably and dashes at the door that begins to open. Layla. After a moment, the shockwave storm is released. In it, Layla kicks the wall and rushes into the room. Lila. Leave it to me. This degree, goo. I heard something slamming on the wall. A shockwave hit Layla's body. Elder sister Layla. Layla. Sama. Jean and Maya try to follow, but they are unable to pass through the aisle because of the shockwave storm that is released with extra power. Not good, if even a dragon is sealed by the inexhaustible shockwave of the holy beast. Gorkas raised his voice. I tried to dive in for a trial, but I was battered away at once. Damn, it's impossible to burn it out like this. Didn't you say leave it to me? When I noticed, Chibi Layla was riding on my shoulder. Layla, I am a black dragon. A black dragon who is said to be the strongest of the fire dragons, nicknamed Layla the best. As long as I have justice in this body, I can't lose anyone in this world, but you, master, believe, I will go through, with dragon's love. From the middle, Layla's words were not for me, but for the enemy and for herself. Layla changes into her dragon form across the aisle. So we do not miss the moment when the shock wave to the passage is blocked and Bonaparte, Diane, and N-Zeros jump in. I and the rest of the fighters followed. Goo. As soon as I jump into the room, the shockwaves come flying. Everyone around me is blown across the room and slams into the wall. It was Layla's tail who protected me. Layla. Ho ho, now, my force. Layla was attacked by a shockwave storm and advanced slowly with a sparkling obsidian dot-like scale. It's a life-threatening advance. Layla. Hey, don't overdo it. Unforgivable, not like. Layla roars. Is it impossible for a dragon to be righteous? The power to do that, the life for it. I'm alive. I'm not worth anything more than a dragon. For the justice you gave me, I'll fight even with all of this world. Only one holy beast. There is nothing a black dragon can't roast. Layla spreads the scales from her whole body and attaches to the meat mass. And she tries to exhale fire, but her neck is pushed away by the protruding legs and horns and she cannot turn her mouth at the meat mass. Layla struggles while roaring in frustration. Shockwaves from the legs besides are released, with so much concentration that it strikes Layla's wings and blood starts to spout from her whole body, instead of the scales. I. Layla roared. From behind. Layla, you endured well. Diane took advantage of the blind spots in Layla's back and used the thin legs and horns as shields and spattered shockwaves into the mass. From here on, it's our turn. Diane swings the sword in her hand and stretches her spine gracefully on the meat mass. The next moment, horrible things happen. Not good. To be honest, I had no idea what happened. You. At the same time as Diane roars, blood swirls and blows up. A piece of meat bursts up to the ceiling and walls. As if there was a mechanical rotary blade or something, a chunk of meat is cut from the middle, shredded and scattered. Dark War God, with a black dragon, Bonaparte, released from the shockwave, shows his teeth and smiles like a beast. Old man, cuckoo. Believe youngster. That's the power of that beautiful woman who doesn't usually even have a sword. Yes, there is no incarnation of a battle as pure as that. That's the goddess who destroyed the sword Saint Brigade. What a laugh on your face. Cold sweat, fear, reverence, joy, and urge. The face of the old man was stuck with a beast-like emotion that I had never seen before. Meanwhile, the meat mass transforms into a piece of meat. The shock wave was being knocked out for some time. Looking at the front of the meat cut, a space like a round pot with a radius of several tens of meters was created, centered on Diane. Ho, Layla. Ho, Diane, you were good on your side. Together, Diane jumps on Layla's back. Chibi Layla looks at my face. I nodded. Ga-awaya. After the cry of the holy beast, Layla emits a fire breath from her mouth. She burned out most parts of the holy beast. The last thing remaining was one head. The head is at death's door. Confirming that, I took Maya and N0s for the second labyrinth destruction. Half a day later. Holy Beast Breakcore woke up slowly. Above the field. What happened to me? I answer to Breakcore's voice. I got it, why I am on the ground. Why I'm alive, why I can speak. Even until now, even my mouth was buried in myself. You were reborn. I patted the head of the horned horse. Its body is no different from a normal horse. The labyrinth regained its function in the second hole opening. But it doesn't go exactly the same. The purification capacity of Qi has been halved and the direction of positive Qi ejection has changed. Although it is all on the calculation once. Instead of going to the base, it was bypassed and blown into the ground, and the grassland in the upper part of the labyrinth became Breakcore's viable point. Because the Holy Beast is familiar with pure Qi as a base, it seems not to be able to live long when leaving there. And the body of Breakcore became the size which suited the Qi that was halved by the operation, and it was reduced by half. It is no longer the same as a normal beast, except that the Holy Beast has intelligence. It won't be possible to live as if it is the symbol of power of this northern elf territory from now on. And, because the purification ability decreased, the monsters will be born in the land which is downstream from here because of the flow of Qi, perhaps. The land of the Red Clan is no longer a place of pure and clean. But when I told it to deal, he was glad. It's a boat to cross, that was the story. If you say it. From now on, the elves will come to see you. I see. Breakcore looked afar. I won't be useful anymore, so what? I can't help but be a horned horse that never dies. If you only intend not to die. I sit next to Breakcore, looking back at the tough fight. I finally sigh. So be my friend. With me and a lot of elves. If they only know your name and pray for safety, someone will be saved somewhere. Maybe that's the way it is. Nonsense. No, I really think so. A half-elf girl is waiting. I thought so for 15 years. Perhaps there were many situations where I had to escape without such support. Maybe you are also so. The one-horned horse answered with a slight thought and snort. Praying alone doesn't solve anything. Let's talk. Is it still not good? No, a friend who will remember forever will probably be very important. That's the only thing left out. It is much better than me, really. I am born in the town called Polka. After talking with the Holy Beast for a long time, we shake hands and it is different. When I waved my hand, the Holy Beast also watched this while waving his tail lightly. In turn, Deal headed towards the Holy Beast and touched it lightly. From here onwards it was my job, Deal muttered. After seeing the Holy Beast off, we returned near the entrance of the labyrinth. During half a day, Maya made several round trips to and from the clan as messengers, and the remaining clan heads and quite a few Red Clan elves had gathered. Then, I saw the marks in front of us who gathered after leaving Layla, who was too battered and unable to get up yet, in Hilda's care. What's this? It seems that the Holy Beast was beaten and the healing power was recognized. Self-interested, Aurora makes her mouth sharp. But, she might be glad to have become a working which does not live up to the brethren of the southern forest of tens of thousands who still shoulder to seem to be relieved somehow. Gunu, Gast of the Silver Clan, who stood to the end, also confirmed that the mark of blessing was shriveled, and Christy smiles and opens her mouth. Thank you very much for your information. I hope that you will apologize for your impoliteness, and thank you for your continued friendship in the future. Polka Baron Duran Gudo, the daughter of Purple Clan's Linares and the daughter of Sky Blue Clan head Dior, Aurora, accept, yes, from the beginning Sky Blue is the last person who sees the spirit of light. We will accept it. Let's wish each other's prosperity from the heart. Let's keep the future together with more exchanges. Blessing of all things to you, bless all things in nature, the elves chanted.